Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out, procrastination, putting it off, kicking the can down the road. In, plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out, carpet in the bathroom. Like, why? In, knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, a mystery grows around a woman found brutally killed in her own bed until someone comes forward with a horrible tale of crazed violence and blood-filled shot glasses. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, everybody. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us once again. We're excited. Hope you enjoyed last week's crazy Vermont episode.
What a tale.
It's youth milking and everying else in there. A wild tale, right from the things to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely gross. But this week we have wild. I don't even know how to explain it, so I'm not even going to try. It's just absolutely insane. But special announcement. This right here, it's episode 182.
Right.
Regular episodes of Small Town Murder. And we have 218 as of this week.
Yes.
Episodes of Crime and Sports, making this
is it.
Our 400th podcast episode.
Wild.
Which is pretty cool. We're going to have the 200th episode of Small Town Murder pretty soon here, but this is our 400th episode of regular podcasts. So we would like to say thank you and make this kind of listener appreciation week. And just thank you guys. We're not going to do the usual house cleaning at the top of the show. show, reviews and Patreon and all that shit. That's all fine, but that's all for us. This is for you.
Right.
We just want to say thank you guys so much for hanging out with us now for over 3 years with Small Town Murder.
Wild.
And if you listen to Crime and Sports as well, and you should, that as well. And just thank you guys for everything you've done. We've enjoyed this ride so much. Obviously, it sounds like we're giving like we're leaving into the darkness now, but no, we're not stopping at all. But we just want to definitely just take a second here to say thank you guys. We've enjoyed everything you've done for us. The live shows have been amazing. We love meeting you. We've just had a great time with this, and the interaction with you guys has been so much fun. And we just can't thank you guys enough for hanging out.
We never did one of these in the apartment.
No. We started this in the studio.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely.
And
so this is
it in this one.
Yeah,
it's working out.
Yeah, this is good stuff. And thank you guys for everything. Honestly, you've followed us, and we just can't thank you enough. So that's what we're going to do. Quickly, the disclaimer: it's a comedy show.
It is.
This is a comedy podcast. Now that doesn't mean the stories aren't real. No. We're not like making up crazy stuff. Even though somebody said in a review that a lot of our cases aren't real.
James, 22 of them.
I was like, what are you talking? Yeah, you just came to me with that. I'm like, huh?
22 shows aren't even real.
There's hundreds of thousands of people listening. You don't think any of them are Googling along with us, going, huh? What is that? This is nowhere to be found.
I don't even know where that is.
No, they're all real. Everything is real. All the facts are real. We don't make anything up for comic effect or anything like that. There's enough craziness that goes on around murders that you really don't need to do that at all.
Those 22.
Those 20, yeah, obviously. So with all that, I mean, honestly, this is a better way to go about it for us. We're not the type of people that can tell a murder story and solemnly talk, and then her head was removed from her body and placed into a hole in the ground. That's kind of depressing to us. And murder, it's all happened. So why not try to make it a little less depressing?
Right.
Obviously, the death part's depressing, but the stuff around it, try to have some fun with it. What we do, though, and what we try to go out of our way to do is we do not make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why?
Because we're assholes.
Yes.
But we're not scumbags, Jimmy.
Have it.
That's right. So if that sounds good to you, we're going to have a good time. If it doesn't, you should probably go. Go find something else to. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff where they'll tell you, and then he cut her head off. And if you think that's more respectful than a couple of jokes, well, that's up to you. But I mean, we do our best, and it's not as bad as you think. Put it that way. So for everybody else who wants to have a good time and also hear an absolutely horrific story,
let's hear it.
I think it's time to sit back and shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmy.
Go for a ride.
Let's go down a trip.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We're coming from Vermont last week all the way up toward Canada.
Right.
We're going down into the South this week.
Hell yeah.
The Mid-Southland here. We're going to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
I've heard of it.
Pigeon Forge.
Yeah. Why have I heard of that?
That sounds like you'll know. You'll find out. It's in north central Tennessee. We're about 3.5 hours away from Nashville.
Right.
About 45 minutes outside of Knoxville. So it's kind of right outside of there, but up in the hills though. This is like
I'm thinking of Valley Forge. I'm
up
sorry.
in the smoke. Something with a something with a forge. I don't know.
I can't believe there's more than one forge.
There's all sorts of forges. All sort. I mean, pigeon obviously is the one that you want to. Let's name it after the worst bird. What do you say?
What happened at Valley Forge?
The worst. That's George Washington. Yeah, that's Revolutionary War
that's
shit.
Why I know that.
Yeah. That's you've heard about it in school. I assume.
Cut a word.
Yeah, I'm sure they gave you that one. This is different.
I'm so sorry.
So this is about 4 hours to Dixon, Tennessee, which was episode 142. Our last one, which was the big search for a missing head. If you remember, that was a crazy ass episode. This town has multiple mottos, like 3 of them.
Real?
Oh, real mottos. Okay. Yeah. There's so many. Why make any up? Put it that way.
There's a surplus.
One of them, this is on the sign when you go in, is, I'm sorry, no, this is the other one. Years of Forging Progress. That's one. That's on like their website, like on their seal. That's that one. Then on their sign, it says the Family Vacation Hub. Oh? Okay. And then there's another one, and this is like their main motto is, quote, the center of fun in the Smokies. Okay. So, yeah.
I can't wait to hear it.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Don't you want to go to the Smokies, Jimmy?
Right.
Just in the, oh, man. History of this town. Obviously, we want to just talk very briefly about the history, but Pigeon Forge, I have to know why the fuck it's called Pigeon Forge. Let's be realistic here. Pigeon Forge, it comes from an iron forge built by a guy named Isaac Love, and he built it around 1820, and the name of the forge referred to its location along the Little Pigeon River.
Oh.
There was that. So, the name comes from, apparently the river comes from flocks of pigeons that frequent the banks there and hang out. So they started calling it Little...
those birds.
Imagine all the shit.
Gross.
Want to go sit on the riverbank? It's covered in shit. We can't. So many pigeons have shit here that we have to name it. Just give it to the pigeons.
Let's go to a park and feed the ducks where there's duck shit all over the bank.
It's theirs now. It's the pigeons. It belongs to them. Don't know what to tell you. So now in the early 20th century, this was an isolated place. It's up in the mountains, very isolated, no major roads going to it. Yeah. This is this is like when the census guy came, they would shoot at him and shit. Like, this is that kind of thing. Very...
Is anybody from a Tarantino movie from here? Probably, right?
Well, no, actually not. But other people are from here, as we'll talk about here. Also, not a lot of bridges. Oh. The only bridge here, the only major water crossing was a string of them along the Little Pigeon River. Otherwise, there wasn't a lot of bridges. Really? Transportation is hard around here back then. It was just kind of left out to its own devices. Yeah. And electricity, it took a long time to get to here. And these people lived like... Jesus. Charlie Buckets for a long time. Not great. Finally, though, the Great Smoky Mountains National Park opened in 1934, and the Tennessee Valley Authority, which was under Roosevelt, trying to get electricity and basically bring these people into the 20th century, or at least the 19th, something, at least the late 19th. Just try to drag them along, figure out how many people were there, get them electricity, maybe a phone, here's a radio, possibly maybe you could pick up a signal here and there and find out what's going on in the world.
And some longer pants.
Yeah, some longer pants, because those are the ones from when you were 8, I can tell, because they're not cut off.
Right. Those are not treaded off.
No.
It's just, you outgrew them.
They're just very tight around your upper calf.
You're just longer than those are now.
Yeah, and I don't think you're into capris.
No.
So, but now by the 50s, though, there was all sorts of improvements. This is when they were working the roads. Yeah. They started in the 30s to make transportation easier, but in the 50s, the highway system came in, and they really concentrated on roads. That led to the establishment of some campgrounds and some lodges and shit like that. And then eventually, though, there was a commercial boom here. As you can imagine. I mean, the place sounds like it's a draw. Yeah. Why would you not go there here? So the land resources here for a long time were controlled by a few local families who would thwart attempts by outside businesses to take advantage of any of this shit.
Really?
Yeah, people, they'd try to buy like a big swath of land to put something up, and they wouldn't sell it to them. They were from the outside, so it was a very...
Hatfields, McCoys, and McCoys.
That's it. It's just all McCoys.
Right.
It's all the town full of McCoys, and everyone else is the Hatfields.
5 families.
Yeah. So in 1961, Pigeon Forge Incorporated and a couple of brothers from North Carolina opened Rebel Railroad in the town's Middle Creek area. This was like an amusement park. Yeah. It was called Rebel Railroad. The railroad simulated a ride on a Confederate steam train that was under attack by Union soldiers during the Civil War.
What the fuck?
What the fuck kind of ride is that?
That's an amusement. Hilarious.
Man, come on, kids. What the fuck is that?
Who's amused by
Let's go defend the slave trade and get shot at for it. What do you say? What the fuck are we doing? What is happening?
A lot of pride.
This was playing upon the centennial anniversary of the war. It was 100 years from the Civil War. And after the Union assault was beaten back, the railroad came to a stop at a mock frontier mountain town, complete with a blacksmith shop, a general store, and a saloon. So they made a whole little ride out of it.
They're romanticizing it and acting like they won.
You win. You win that battle. Yeah. Yay, we win. Huh?
Hysterical.
Yeah, this is...
I wanted to still be open.
Confederate fantasy camp over here is what's going on here.
I want to go ride that ride and then laugh my balls off at the end.
At the end, we go, oh, no, none of this happened. So, now the Civil War centennial shit started to die down a little bit here, so they decided to rename it. Same thing, but they renamed it Gold Rush Junction. And it was worked in with a Wild West theme instead of a Civil War theme, because we were kind of pushing the late 20th century, and it's kind of played out at that point.
And Tennessee, what says Wild West more than Tennessee?
Obviously, that's the thing. That's clearly. So they also had rides in North Carolina. So they were kind of moving rides back and forth. So Gold Rush Junction was very successful, and then that made these people. They ended up buying a log flume amusement ride. There, so they erected that.
Log ride.
Gotta erect your log. Is what they say here in 1967.
Threatened to get people wet. You never get wet on that ride.
Never.
It always says,
once in a while.
You might get wet. You might get your glasses will get foggy.
Yeah, that's it. Otherwise, you got nothing. So, according to the park tourist brochure, the ride was, quote, brought to Gold Rush Junction from the New York World's Fair, where it was one of the most successful attractions. So, 1969, there was some zoning shit, and the reason of that's interesting, is it caused Art Modell, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, to buy Gold Rush Junction.
Really?
Yes. He then sold it to some guys who owned most of Branson, Missouri. That whole crazy country western old person
wild, man.
Weird shit that goes on there. They renamed the park Silver Dollar City, which is after their theme park in Branson, I guess. This was they had an Ozark Mountain theme in the Branson location, and they reapplied that as an Appalachian theme in Pigeon Forge. So hillbillies is what everyone, let's all simulate hillbillyism. Isn't that fun? And people were into that. That's what got people here. In 82, they had the Knoxville World's Fair, which I didn't even know existed.
Knoxville's got one.
I feel like the World's Fair had lost its steam by then, because it was like Paris and New York, and I think Seattle had one, and the big places. I don't know about Knoxville.
No.
That was probably last on the list.
Probably
down pretty far, I would imagine. Next year, Little Rock. All right. Jesus Christ. So
it burned out before it got to Jacksonville.
Yes. So Pigeon Forge initiated an aggressive economic plan that was centered around theme parks, outlet malls, and live music venues. And so they did that. By 1987, there was 4 outlet malls, and the outlet malls provided 44% of the town's gross revenue. By the early 1990s here.
Those things really fucking draw people in, man.
They do, that are driving by. Yeah. We stopped on the way to California to look at shit.
I had to, because we needed a shirt. What happened?
Something.
I got some shit on a shirt
Yeah, we needed to stop and get a shirt, because we were doing stand-up that night in L.A. That
I
was
didn't have one.
No, we were like, uh-oh.
Whoops-a-daisy.
This is a problem. We forgot it or some shit. I don't remember what happened.
I don't know, but we needed a shirt.
Yeah.
We were one shirt.
We were a shirt shy. So this place Pigeon Forge draws about 11 million visitors every year. Come here.
Really?
Yeah, there's something very special there that I'll tell you about in a minute. So,
did you say 11 million?
11 million. You'll see in a minute. Hold on. So reviews here. Let's get a few reviews. They're very brief and very short and all kind of the same. Yeah. So here's a 2-star. Very generic chains usually close early. Okay. Next one, 2-star. Basically all minimum wage jobs. This is a theme park-based economy, by the way. It's very tenuous. 2 stars. As a tourist town, there's limited opportunity for jobs. Most of what is around here are minimum wage jobs in retail or restaurants. There just isn't a lot here. Another one. I grew up in Pigeon Forge, and I enjoyed the tourism as a child, but in the future I would like to see growing establishments for locals. Then another one. In my immediate area, there's not a lot of nightlife options. You have to go to Knoxville to get that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff.
The nightlife options, that kind of stuff.
The seedy shit.
Yeah.
You want to go on a real vacation.
We ain't got it here in Pigeon Forge. So populations climbed here. They had 1,800 people in 1980, and right now they have 6,147.
Okay.
So that's a pretty good jump up in population. Now, there's a few more married people than normal, and I think that's because of the average age is a little higher. It's 45.8, and there's a ton of people that are 65 and over. Yeah. This is like you live here and stay here or move away to find a job, because they're all, otherwise you work at a fucking theme park or in a restaurant. Yeah, if you want to have a job that you can make a decent living at, you can't stay here.
Right.
Unless you want to own the theme park.
Or you retire there.
Or you retire there, or you just stay there from before.
Until you retire.
Yeah, until you retire. Way more females than males because there's so many old people, and you outlive us, you fuckers. So that's that. Race of this town, not surprisingly, pretty white. It sounds white, doesn't it? It's
Tennessee.
Well, there's a lot of black people in Tennessee.
Yeah, but not in the country.
Not out here. Some towns, but not this one.
Nashville's got some.
Yeah, this is a lot.
Yeah.
This is in Memphis.
Yeah.
There's black people there. This is white people here, 83%.
Okay.
Black people, 0.5%.
Wow.
Yeah, that's on purpose.
Yeah.
That
is super low.
For a Tennessee town,
right.
That shit's on purpose.
Holy fuck.
That's not, they're avoiding it, and I feel like there's been some,
we've talked.
It's not, I don't think it might not be the most inviting place, possibly. 0.0% Asian, not having any of that either. 10.1% Hispanic, though, so that's where you get. And a little bit of Native American, too, 1.8%. Cool. Religion here, usually 50-50 here, 53.2%, which is not shocking for the South. And most of the people, 32.7% of the people here are Baptists. Yeah. As we know, Baptists are the Catholics of the South and the Mormons of the East.
Right.
So, however you want to do it. A couple of Catholics, a Pentecostal here or there, 0.0% Jewish. Yeah. They're like, I don't know about the whole, I don't know. We read about the Civil War theme and everything. We're just going to pass on it. We're just going to move on to the next town.
You guys still got trains there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That do bad shit.
I don't. Train rides are no fun.
We don't like those.
So not good at all. So 0.4% Islam as well, which I'm surprised there's any Muslims here, honestly. I'm surprised there's anybody but Baptists here. Yeah. It seems like this would be the town would fight between Baptist and Pentecostals till the death.
I don't see a draw for it.
No, politically, this is a very conservative town. Last election, or county, 17.3% voted Democrat in the last election, 79% Republican. Wow. So it is very conservative up in the hills here. Unemployment rate's about normal for now, but all those parks, I don't know how well they're doing at this moment.
Give us some time.
Household income is low, though. Rest of the country, it's about $57,500. Here it is $35,573 as your household income. Yeah. Like I said, a theme park-based economy does that. 45% of the people, 45 make $30,000 or less a year.
Shit.
Households we're talking about. That's
wild.
Fucking crazy.
That's way too low.
Yeah, that's a lot of people working for tips and for minimum wage and shit. That's brutal. Now, cost of living here is not even that low. 100 is average, regular par. Here it's 86, and the housing is a 77. Oh. Median home cost $178,300.
Not on 35 grand.
I was going to say, which isn't that bad unless you make 27 grand a year, and then you're hurting. That's not going to work out well for you.
Very house poor.
But if you want to give it a shot, it's cash poor. Yeah. But you're not really going to be house rich here either to talk about the houses. So if you can't help yourself, damn it, you need to go here. You're going to be 11 million and one. We have for you the Pigeon Forge, Tennessee Real Estate Report. Your average two-bedroom rental here goes for about $724 a month, which is low compared to the average. But I found houses here, that they're expensive, man. They're not cheap. I found a two-bedroom, two-bath, 1,920 square feet house. Kind of shitty. It's not really in great shape. $172,500 though. It's not wonderful. And that's kind of your average price. I found a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,708 square foot, decent house, woods behind it. Yeah. Nice, family house, $285,000 for that bad boy, though. So it's going to cost you. And then, let's say...
That's the middle one.
That's the middle one.
You found a better one.
Let's say you own the Confederate Railroad theme park nearby, and you're doing very well for yourself. I found an 11-bedroom, 12-bath...
What?
T-ball for every b-hole, goddammit.
That's amazing.
8,640 square foot. It looks like a giant fucking lodge.
Wow.
It's awesome. Has an indoor pool.
Enough b-holes, t-holes.
It's ridiculous.
In case you got an extra friend.
Yeah, it's nuts, dude. $1,899,000.
I gotta make some money.
I was gonna say, which in a place that anyone wanted to live, that would be way more than that. It'd be $7 million if that was even here. This place sucks in Phoenix.
Can you own that? And with it being a thoroughfare like that for travel, you could B&B a bunch of those bedrooms.
You could B&B the shit out of it.
And you could probably pay your rent.
Oh yeah, you could probably pay your mortgage. You probably pay your mortgage just running a little lodge out of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, you could do that.
When you're allowed to have people.
Might be what it is. That might be what it might be a lodge for sale. It might be for that. That's
why they're selling it.
Possibly.
They can't have people there yet.
Possible. Now things to do, Jimmy. Oh,
I can't wait.
Dollywood is here.
All right.
This is Dollywood. That's why you've heard of Pigeon Forge.
That's why I've heard of it.
Because you've
been there.
been in the fucking town.
I've been in this town.
Now, first of all, you guys tweet at Jimmy for his love of Dolly Parton and all that. The reason Dolly Parton came up was because we at my house were on like a Dolly Parton kick, and we were loving Dolly Parton. I showed Sarah Rhinestone. We watched 9 to 5. We were watching all this shit, showing her all the stuff, and we were talking about Dolly Parton. So I was bringing up how much we love Dolly Parton, and then you went off on how you wanted to have sex with her for fucking 15 minutes. And so it was like, okay. So Jimmy has hijacked our Dolly Parton love with his fucking bloodlust for her.
It's not my fault.
With his lust for her tits.
I've loved her since I was 8.
For her 80-year-old tits. So it's funny. So I love Dolly Parton too.
She's amazing.
In his household, we like Dolly, goddammit, because she's funny.
She's great.
She put up with Sylvester Stallone attempting to sing country music for a whole movie without just like killing him. So you know what? That's a patient woman. That's the patience of a saint.
The amount of abuse she has probably more than likely endured just by trying to fucking sell an album with having huge and embracing it. The amount of abuse she's probably taken. I can't imagine smiling today.
Oh, it's such a tough world when you're blonde and have huge tits, isn't it? No, I get what you're saying, though. Back in the day, that was definitely, you're going to get some sexist shit thrown at your way. But
how do you sing with people in the front row? She probably played a lot of shows like Forrest Gump's Jenny with clothes on, obviously.
Yeah, I hope so. Hope she had clothes on.
But
she also kind of has a great presence and she rocks too. So I think she could have had reversed no tits or reversed concave, and people would have thought she was pretty fucking good. So in 1985, she was approached by the guys who owned all the Branson shit. Because she was born in Sevierville, which is right here, and basically Sevierville. There you go. There was a proposal for a partnership in the promotion and operation of Silver Dollar City, place they had. Now, Parton, she ended up becoming a majority partner, and it was renamed Dollywood, and to launch a major marketing campaign. And there was a nearby Magic World, which folded in 1994.
I got news for you too. It's just okay.
It's okay. Well, I have some rides here that they have. The Dollywood Express train. They have the Barnstormer, Daredevil Falls, Lightning Rod. You got Boob Mountain, which is a very popular attraction. Smoky Mountain River Rampage.
They do not have titty teacups, which is what I was really hoping for.
That's the problem. Yeah, none of that. And the Tennessee Tornado, which that sounds terrible. I don't want to. Who the hell wants that? Sounds frightening. Hide in the bathtub, kids. No. So those are your.
You know what else she has is because it's like a quote unquote Wild West
people
town.
Expect like Dolly to just be walking around greeting people like, "Hi y'all, how you doing?" Just get y'all a lemonade, and you're like, "No, it's not her house." That's not the Neverland Ranch. That's not what this is.
It's not what she does while she's not on tour.
It's just a thing she owns. She doesn't live there. People think she lives there, and this is her yard. Like, that's the impression people have. Like Neverland Ranch with Michael Jackson. It's not that.
It's not even
She
close.
just bought into some Branson, Missouri huckster's fucking shitty theme park and renamed it after her boobs.
Her, right. Yeah. Well, there's like a house there that is kind of modeled after the one she grew up in, and it plays coat of many colors, the coat that her mom sewed for. And it tells all about her story, rags to riches shit, which is great. That's amazing.
Terrific.
This is dumb. Can we go home now?
Yeah, this is a theme park. This isn't Six Flags, for Christ's sake. This is shit.
They do have women that wander around that are kind of scantily clad that, like, accost young boys.
What?
Yes.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
They come and just put their tits in their face?
No.
Hi.
Kissed me. Legit kissed me. I was 10 years old.
Wait a second. They work there?
Yes.
Their job is to go around and molest young children.
Basically. To be quote-unquote whores.
Wait a second. Yeah. They call themselves that?
Yes!
Wait a second, Jimmy. We got to back the fuck up for a minute.
I don't know if they still do it.
Okay.
But when I was younger, there was a girl.
You were 8, walking around Dollywood, and your mom was like, "Oh, the whores are coming." And then you were like, "Okay." And then she was like, "Let the whore kiss you." And that's what happened?
Well, we posed for a picture.
Was it like Whore Jane on her shirt? Like, how do you know that they were called the whores? Did your parents call them that, or was
My
that
mom
like
did.
Was there a horse stand that you could they hung out at?
Yes, more like a stable place,
like a cab stand,
yes.
like were there. It didn't say
the Dollywood red light.
They weren't officially called the whore. Okay.
I don't know that. Well, listen. So
you had me very confused.
I had no idea what was happening. These women just came and like took pictures with. They're dressed like, I don't know.
So your mom called the women whores.
Yes.
That's where the name.
To their faces.
Oh, okay. That's where we're getting at. Okay. See, I jumped the gun.
And they didn't correct her, so that's something.
Wow.
So we
that's
took like a picture
service,
with them.
I guess. I don't know.
We took a picture with them. And the girl says to her friend,
"What the fuck?
Kiss him." So she kissed my brother, and then she kissed me.
Yeah.
And then I was fucking stunned. I'm like, what just happened? And then they like walked off, and my mom goes, "Those are just the whores that walk around here." And I was like, "The what?
What?
I am 10. This is weird."
Is that because Dolly Parton said that because I heard her talk about.
I don't know.
Is that? I don't know.
That's like their quote unquote job there, though, is to pretend that they're prostitutes in the town. That's
literally?
Yes.
Oh, because Dolly idolized that prostitute. That was
that whole thing.
That's her whole like origin story. Is that what it is?
They're quote unquote prostitutes.
Okay, so they're officially prostitutes, and your mom called them whores.
Right.
Okay.
To their faces.
That's not coming from you.
No.
Clearly not. No. I was going to say that's clearly either an official title
that's their
or
job is to pretend to be prostitutes and kiss young boys.
Okay.
It's pretty wild.
I mean, okay.
I loved it.
I bet you did.
I didn't understand it, but I knew I liked it.
Dollywood, everybody. That's
so go see
way
No Tits.
Different than I thought. Yeah, it's way different than I thought. I didn't. Wow, they really changed the theme.
They were hot.
The music here, Dollywood. I don't even know what to say about that. It's all Christmas shit. Appalachian Christmas, Christmas in the Smokies, Oh Holy Night, the Great Pumpkin Lumen Nights. That's what it is.
She does love Christmas.
Well, I bet. And then also here they offer this is right on their website for Dollywood, right on the front page. Parent swap.
Oh boy.
What? Yeah, what? Pardon? What the fuck? Dollywood is hailed as a family-friendly park, and my family of 7 always puts that to the test. Parent Swap is one of the programs Dollywood offers that exemplifies why I love this theme park so much. Have you taken advantage of Parent Swap?
What do they do?
What the fuck is going on here? What, do you just switch kids?
You take your group of 7 and you just hand them off
Hand them off? I'll take your 4 and I'll meet you back
take
here.
Take these 4. A family of 3?
What the fuck? Why are you going places with your kids if you're going to exchange them with somebody else? What's going on?
To go have fun with somebody else's kids?
Yeah, thanks.
Your kids are so much cooler.
Oh man, they were so much fun. My kid sucks. No, yeah, you suck. Come on.
I do get it though.
You're not getting ice cream because you suck. Also, other things here, not at the Dollywood, but other attractions in this town, tourism shit. Paula Deen's Lumberjack Feud Show and Adventure Park.
Feud Show.
Paula Deen's Lumberjack. What the fuck does she have to do with rides and lumberjacks?
I thought she cooked shit with butter.
She cooks shit with butter and says the N-word. That's what she does. That's her job.
She loves lumberjacks, especially when they feud.
Oh, boy. The Button Willow Civil War Theater, Top Jump Trampoline and Extreme Arena. Okay. Crave Golf Club, Titanic Museum, Alcatraz East Crime Museum. Okay. Southern Gospel Museum and Hall of Fame, Country Tonight Theater, Paula Deen's Lumberjack, something else here. I don't know what the fuck that is. Comedy Barn Theater.
Oh, boy.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get booked down at the Comedy Barn Theater. Zippity-doo-dah. Wonderworks Children's Museum, Smoky Mountain Opry, of course, Elvis and Hollywood Legends Museum, Hatfield and McCoy Dinner Feud.
Oh, yeah.
The Tomb Escape Adventure, Biblical Times Dinner Theater. Oh, that sounds fun. Yay, kids.
Now, here's a good story.
Come on, kids. Memories Theater. Just remember the past?
Yeah. Memories.
It's called the Memories Theater. Flyaway Indoor Skydiving. It defeats the purpose. NASCAR Speed Park. Smoky Mountain Alpine Coaster. Jurassic Jungle Boat Ride. Hollywood Wax Museum. The Island in Pigeon Forge, which is featuring the Great Smoky Mountain Wheel. Tribute to Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack.
What? There?
They have no connection to Tennessee. What? Vegas, New York, fine. Smoky, no. Shit. The Island Show Fountains, American Oldies Theater, Grand Majestic Dinner Theater, Great Smoky Mountain Murder Mystery. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ripken Experience. That's just Cal Ripken standing there. How you doing, everybody?
Not even junior.
Boring. No, it's a senior. It's his dad. I managed the Orioles back in '83 when Cal was MVP.
Where's your son?
Went to the series. He's like, Billy's at home. Nobody likes Billy. No one cares about Billy.
You didn't even like
We
it.
only like Cal. I hate Cal. So, and also Winterfest. Now,
this sounds like they love the past.
Well, yeah, it's a bunch of old people that go here and
remember the oldies.
Here,
remember
kids,
this,
let me show you the past.
Right.
Remember what it used to look like? Now, crime rate in this town, what we're interested in, property crime is about 3 times the national average.
Really?
Here. So it is. They will steal your shit here.
Well, it's probably things like that's
cars
my camera.
Broken
that
into.
was my camera.
Cars getting broken into in parking lots of theme parks by people who make minimum wage.
Yeah,
and can't afford their rent.
Yeah,
violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime you would expect to be low. I would assume here, almost double well. So. Not fucking around.
I had no idea. I'm lucky to be alive.
Full of crime. You could have been stabbed and thrown into a ravine somewhere. No one would have known.
Those horrors took mercy upon me.
They did. They could have killed you quickly. Thank God for that. So with that said, let's talk about a murder.
I can't wait.
Oh, my goodness here.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Well, let's do it. We got to go back in time here to July of 1987.
Okay.
So picture that. Dolly had just taken over. They just pitched Dollywood to Dolly, and she said, "All right then, honey. All right there, sugar." And then
I'll be there very soon.
This is right when they were making the deal for Dollywood. This all went down.
Okay.
This could have screwed the whole deal up. We'll put it that way, because this is pretty fucking wild here. Let's talk about a woman. Let's talk about this first. Okay, July 11th, 1987, early afternoon. So, broad daylight is the best way to put that.
Yeah.
A woman named Christy Scott Jones comes over to her mother's house. And her mother is a 42-year-old woman named Ann Robertson Jones, or Dorothy Ann Robertson Jones, but she goes by Ann.
Yeah.
So, but her full name, Dorothy Ann Robertson Jones. It's a lot of name.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But she is not a fan of the fucking Wizard of Oz. It has ruined her life.
No, she's like, that's what she's going with, Anne.
Yeah.
Fuck it. So, Ann Robertson Jones, 42, and Christy Scott Jones, her daughter, or Joan Scott, her daughter, comes over to, check on her mom. I think she's going to pick her up or something. Now, Ann Robertson Jones, the mother, she runs a T-shirt shop in Pigeon Forge.
Cool.
She, runs one of the souvenir shops. There's a Settlers Village they have there, and it's a bunch of touristy shit, basically, with a bunch of shops. And
I survived Pigeon Forge.
I survived,
Pigeon shit on the shoulder.
That's what it is. And I got kissed by a prostitute in Pigeon Forge, and I'm only 8. You know what I mean? Stuff like that in front of my mom.
Yeah.
Hooked up with a sex worker in front of my mom. It's a good T-shirt, right? That's a good one. It's a very, they can't even keep it in stock. That one. It flies right out the door.
Mom got me a hooker.
Yeah.
All I got is this loud t-shirt.
That's it. Oh, wait.
and
not
that.
Gonorrhea, too.
Not just
That's
this
right.
shirt.
Oh, no.
This shirt's
the hold on. Yep, that hurts. It hurts to pee. Never mind.
This shirt's the second thing I got.
I got this first, but the other thing is going to be more of a concern. So,
oh, Christ.
She runs a t-shirt shop selling t-shirts such as that. When her daughter, Christy Scott Jones, walks in her house, everything seems normal, and finally looks through the house because she can't find her mom, and she finds her in her own bed. Her mother is partially clothed, lying face down on her bed here, and it's not good. There's a lot of blood everywhere. And her arms and legs had been bound and tied to the bed with strips of blue terry cloth and pieces of sheer off-white material. Like they say, like a tablecloth or a curtain material.
Yeah.
You know, like in a restaurant that is kind of industrial white tablecloths, that sort of shit.
Heavy shit.
Yeah, that heavy kind of thing like that. And there was a gag tied across her mouth, and strips of the blue terry cloth had been tightly wrapped around her neck. So, this is not what you want to walk into, obviously. And clearly there has been some serious shit that's happened here. Not only in terms of the binding, but the blood is...
Right.
There's a lot of blood, just more than...
It's a real mess.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a lot of blood in the way that it's on purpose. It's been spread. Like, it's not like, a puddle below her and a little spatter over here. There's blood in places where it's like, why is there a bunch of blood on the floor here? That makes no sense considering that there's no trail from there to there. Stuff like that. It's just it's very fucking confusing here. And, according to, obviously she calls the police and, they bring in the forensic people and the forensic pathologist for the state here, Dr. Cleland Blake, said that Jones had suffered several blunt traumatic contusions to her head. These injuries were consistent with those caused by a blunt or rounded object and would have rendered her unconscious at some point. Her skull had been fractured and the cartilage in her nose displaced by the beating. So in this sort of thing, there's nobody opened an artery. There's no like throat cutting or something like that would cause a lot of blood. So when you see a lot of blood, it's a strange thing.
Yeah.
And fucking sounds on purpose.
Sure does.
You know what I mean? This is a horrible scene. She had she'd bled extensively from her mouth and nose from the facial from beatings in the face here. There was what he called a patch of scraping type of injuries. This is the quote, scraping type of injuries caused by some kind of slender linear object like whipping marks on the back left side of her chest beneath her shoulder blades. On the right buttock, there were 3 linear imprints, superficial bruises that fit perfectly with 4 fingers of a hand. So there's a slap there type of thing.
Her?
I got very hard to leave imprints and bruising, medically for someone to notice
for it. To stick around.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Blake wrote in his report that these represented a, quote, hard slap injury to the buttock inflicted while the victim was still alive. So, that's... this is a fucking mess so far. I mean, Jesus Christ. First of all, the daughter walks in and finds this. She's not a child. She's an adult, but still.
It's going to ruin you.
If you're 20 years old,
fuck you up.
You don't want to walk in. If you're 60 years old, you don't want to walk in and find your mother in this position.
It's going to rewire your brain. You are changed.
Yeah, that's. I don't know how it wouldn't. Now, the terry cloth strips around her neck, Jones here, Anne, had been pulled so tightly that they cut off the flow of blood to the brain as well. And the gag was bound so tightly that it cut a deep groove into the corners of her mouth. So it's a very, unnecessarily tight, basically. And combined with the hemorrhaging in the nasal passages, this caused her to suffocate, which is her actual cause of death.
From the gag?
Is suffocating from bleeding through her nasal cavities and having the gag over her mouth so tight, not being able to get any air, while being unconscious as well from having your skull fractured.
Unbelievable.
So this is quite the beating and somebody really just had didn't give shit one for human suffering here, clearly at all, whoever did this. The conclusion is that she died as a result of asphyxiation while unconscious. Okay. So that's the deal there. Examination of the crime scene showed that the door to the bedroom where she was found had been forced open. That had been broken open, basically. And a purse and its contents were strewn all over the hall. Okay. That's kind of how the daughter found her, is followed the purse contents into the bedroom to see what was going on. If you walk in, you can't find your mom and her purse contents are strewn all over the hallway. That's a bad sign.
And it's a trail all the way back to the bed.
Yeah, that's not a good thing here. Right. In addition to that, the phone lines to the house had been cut from the outside. Cut with a knife. So there's that, or whatever, clipped. So sometime there also, so this is going on. Obviously, there's an investigation, lots of forensic work being done. But sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks, Christy Jones Scott, the daughter, she discovers a silver, turquoise, and coral ring with a Thunderbird design lying on the ground behind, next to her mother's truck, which was still parked at the house. So this ring, who knows?
Somebody's been to Albuquerque.
Somebody's been to Albuquerque, goddammit. So she picks it up and obviously turns this over to the police. Doesn't know if it's anything. Right. I mean, who the fuck knows? You find shit on the ground all the time. That could have been there for 6 months. We have no idea. So there's no leads, no nothing. Police are completely baffled, have no clue what this is. Investigation, I mean, you have some forensics and we know what happened. You can see a clear course of events, but that's it.
All the blood hers?
All the blood appears to be hers. The only thing missing from the house, by the way, appears to be the contents of her purse and a toothbrush. Which is an Oral-B pink toothbrush.
Weird.
Which is the only thing missing from the house, really.
Random-ass choice of things to steal.
Right? Not even like the toothpaste. They left that behind, so...
Maybe they've been looking for the pink one.
You know what? That's the thing, is sometimes when they're out of that model, you got to get that model.
Oh, my God.
They only had the medium bristle, and you're like, I need the soft. I just want the soft.
My son gets one, and then my daughter wants the same one, but she wants a specific color. You can't get it.
You're fucked.
They're all gone. So, there's only purple, baby. I don't want purple. I'm going to have to murder somebody and steal
Do you understand I have to crack a woman's skull open and take hers for this? Shit. You're the best dad in the world.
So basically, get to looking for whoever's got a pain in the ass daughter that won't use a purple toothbrush.
And you'll find your culprit. That's where your culprit will be.
I'm good at police work.
So, bro, you could have solved this case now. Done.
Thanks for listening.
Round up all the little girls in town who's got a pink toothbrush. Find out if they're a pain in the ass. Talk to all their teachers, and you're done.
Her dad may love his daughter, but he's an asshole.
Sir, but there's no physical evidence I did anything. Sir, your fucking daughter has a pink toothbrush. You're coming with us. Let's go. Hands behind your back. You're going to get the chair for this, mister. What? She just asked for pink. I know.
Oh, we know.
Oh, we know. So they make no progress in this case. There's literally no suspects. No, they talk to the neighbors. There's nobody saw a car. Nobody saw a person. Nobody saw anything. And outside of that, if there's no fingerprints and things like that, you're pretty much, what do you do?
Yeah.
That's a murder case. That's how cold cases happen. Right. You end up with, we ask around, no witnesses, no leads, no forensic leads. Right. What do you do?
I don't know.
I mean, shit.
Hulu. This is perfect for Hulu for 20 years from now.
That's what I mean.
This will be a great show for them.
Who the fuck knows? So they make very little. A year goes by with no progress. Nothing. I mean, we're talking July all the way to mid-June of 1988 is when they finally catch a little bit of a break here. I mean, that's a long fucking time to go, a year with nothing. And it's not even, they're working it because there's not a lot of shit like this that goes on around here. So, I mean, it's not like they just put it aside. This isn't like, they're in Baltimore or New York or something where there's enough homicides to keep you busy. Right. If, one goes cold. Here, you just keep working on it because I don't know how many homicides they have. So, now June 22nd, 1988 is when they take a statement from an extremely unlikely source. It's a child. It is at the time, 15-year-old girl here. This is the first of 6 statements they'll end up taking from this girl. Now, she says, in her first statement, she says she has no knowledge of the details of this murder or anything like that, but she makes allegations that possibly an old boyfriend of hers might know something about it, and you should probably talk to him.
Okay.
That's her first statement. Now, who is this girl, and what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Why would a teenage girl know anything about this lady being bludgeoned in her own bedroom? Well, April Marie Ward is her name. And at the time of the murder, she's 14 years old.
Right.
So a freshman in high school, or even an eighth grader that, started late. So
better word is child.
Child works, basically. I'm trying to put it in perspective that she carries a fucking, an 87. She has a trapper keeper, is what I'm getting at, with like a horse on it and shit. And she, writes, "I love so-and-so."
She's a dork if she has 2 straps on her backpack.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is, the time is, put yourself in that shoe. You're very young at that point. Now, her story that she ends up getting to here eventually over the course of 6 statements, because that's the first statement is, "I don't know anything, but I know a guy who might." Mm-hmm. That's the first one. Now she goes from that and evolves over 6 statements into quite the tale here. Quite the fucking tale. Basically what she says is a year earlier, the summer of 1987, early summer, kind of like late May, that sort of deal, she meets a man, and I do say a man because it's not another child, a 27-year-old.
What the fuck?
Named Gary June Coffrin.
Yeah.
He's the only thing I can think about this guy is he looks younger than he is. He's 5'3".
Okay.
So he's a little guy.
Yeah.
So one thing, if you watch anything like reality shows and shit like that, where there's any kind of dating, little guys, smaller guys have a harder time with women, obviously.
It's horrible.
You have to you have a mountain to climb.
You do.
Because right away, you ask women,
a literal one.
What do you like physically in a guy? Oh, tall. It's always the first thing they say. It's a hard thing to overcome. And we did like the personal ads thing. How many of them say 6 feet or over?
Right.
Like they don't fucking.
Tall, dark, and handsome they say that for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
Because you feel like.
And some women don't care, but that's your typical,
you
though.
Feel
if
safe
you're
like that.
Yeah. I don't know what the psychology
Even
is.
Even Shaq's wife is a tiny woman who should be with a tiny
Sarah
man.
Size.
And she's with this.
Yeah. It's strange.
This enormous man.
And it's one of Sarah's friends one time told her, she's like, "That's not fair. You took a tall one. That's wrong," because she was a taller girl. She's like, you're short. You didn't need a tall one like that.
Jada Pinkett Smith, same thing.
Yeah.
Granted, she's got plenty other boyfriends, but you know the point.
And whoever else she's in with. Right. So, yeah, this is if you're 5'3", though, what I've noticed is if you're small and you look young, you're not threatening to women.
Yeah.
A lot of times. Sometimes you are if you look like a crazy person or something. But if you can do that, if you could put on a little bit of charm, you can come across young and harmless and not frightening to a woman physically.
Sure.
If a woman doesn't feel physically, I feel like, frightened by you, it's a little easier to maybe get the first meeting in if you're not an attractive guy to begin with, So that might be why she ends up going out with the 27-year-old. They become romantically involved in the early summer of 1987. 27 years old and 14 years old.
That's illegal.
Well, that's extremely even in Tennessee. That's fucking not legal. Like, I'm sorry, even in Tennessee. Although, you know what? Back then, I'm not sure.
No,
because
in '87 though,
up until a few years ago, I'm not kidding. Idaho was like 14. There were states where it's 14, but I still think that's with another kid. It's not with an adult.
Dude,
I don't think.
If you look at the consent laws around this country, it is crazy how much they vary.
Yeah. Oh, it's a lot. Yeah,
it's wild.
I remember on the old episodes of Loveline, people used to call and be like, I'm 21, I'm dating this chick, and they'd like look up laws for him and shit. Dr. Drew at one point had a fucking card that had all the fucking states. Had all the states' age of consent on it.
I was 17 and did something probably illegal.
Let's not discuss that. So, anyway, but she becomes romantically involved with a 27-year-old. In other words, a 27-year-old is grooming and then raping her, basically, is what that means, because you can't consent to a relationship with a 27-year-old when you're fucking 14.
Jesus, no.
It's not a romantic relationship, no matter how they want to phrase it here. Now, her mother, April Ward's mother, worked, her name is Letty Marie Cruz. She worked at the Turquoise Jewelry Shop in Settlers Village, which was a group of shops there near the T-shirt shop that Ann Robertson worked in. So she works there also. Like I said, her mom, Ann Jones, who was the woman who died here, Jones Robertson, whatever, she ran the Wild Hair T-shirt shop in there. So there we got the Turquoise Jewelry Shop and the Wild Hair, Hare.
Yeah. Of course.
T-shirt shop there. So now, anyway, April, from being around there, seeing her mom and stuff like that, 14-year-old April, she runs into this Gary Coffrin while he's working on a nearby construction site. So,
Yeesh.
Think about your 14-year-old daughter
getting catcalled.
Not even actually just like being talked up, chatted up by a fucking some dude on a construction site. Oh my God. The fucking murder that I would inflict is intense. Like, no fucking way. I will kill you with your own tools. I swear to Christ.
Supporting this?
Well, we'll talk about this.
She got herself a working
Can't
man?
imagine she. Yeah, I don't know if this was like, he's not Jerry Lee Lewis or anything. Right. Unless you're a pop star in the 50s, you can't marry 14-year-olds. So I don't know how that works exactly. If you have a couple of hit songs, the parents would give them to you.
What you got to do?
Well, I mean, she's going to have a good life either way. I mean, sure, it's gross now.
Right.
But 10 years from now?
Sure, it's still going to be gross.
What opportunity is she going to have again to marry a pop star who happens to be a pedophile? What opportunity will she ever get again? We can't let her pass it up. Fuck, man. So, yeah, they end up meeting, and they met on the covered portico area, which is everyone referred to it as the porch of Settlers Village. It seems like it's the area where they have like tables. You get like snacks and food, and you can sit down at the tables. You know, all that communal bullshit there.
It's awful.
So that's where they met, and then they would meet up almost every day under the portico here, the covered patio. So this is what's going on. This guy
as a man at 27,
meeting up with a 14-year-old girl.
Worse than. How do you feel any sense of pride when you walk home? How do you not just feel like the worst thing on earth?
Well, if you're walking home as a grown man, you should already.
He's doing
your pride. Sure, well, no, actually not.
No,
your pride would already be in the toilet at that point. But if you're walking home from a liaison with a freshman, I would say that'd be significantly more depressing.
You should probably feel terrible.
You should feel like shit about yourself. Just kill yourself if that's your problem. And we are not pro suicide, obviously. No. Years we've had our own rushes and everything, but
plenty of issues.
If you are a 27-year-old man considering fucking a 14-year-old girl and then walking home, just throw yourself in front of a bus, because save us all a lot of trouble, please. Stop fucking looking at 14-year-olds sexually, thank you.
And if you've already done it, please never listen to me again.
Turn it off now.
I don't want you anywhere near this.
No, you don't deserve this. So, summer of 1988, this is when this all comes around. And like I said, in her first interview, before she gives up all the details here, as we'll get into in a second, she discusses, remember she said, I don't know anything about the crime, but I know a guy that might, basically. At that point, by 88, they had broken up.
Oh, so she's bitter.
I don't know if she's bitter or whatever.
She is not happy. One way or another, she's not happy that she dated him.
That's the thing. And we don't know exactly how the police got a hold of her, particularly. Now, I would assume since she's a teenage girl, and not teenage girl, just teenage in general, she probably told somebody, probably told a sibling, probably told a friend, and a friend told a parent, and a parent went to the cops, because that's how these all end up happening, is kids can't keep their mouths shut. You know, they think they're best friends, but they're like, oh my God, a lady's dead, and they go tell their mom about it, and that's what happens. So either way, the police know that she has some involvement here. So during the summer of 88, they do track down Gary June Coffrin, and they talk to him a few different times as well, based on what she tells them. He denies knowing the victim at all, denies knowing Ann whatsoever.
Never heard of her.
Don't know who the fuck you're talking about. Don't know anything about her death. Who died? Sorry to hear that. Don't know shit about it.
I was busy fucking children, not murdering people.
Yeah, you see, you really got to focus in when you're having sex with a child. Right. See, you really got to focus. You know,
disgusting.
Laser focus. Anything outside of that.
Yeesh.
disgusted here. So he, what he did is he denies his actions. He said he did not do anything. He also says that he did not, because they bring up, we heard you were in a fight in a bar in Newport, because he walked into somewhere, as we'll get into in a minute, with scratches all over him the next day. Yeah. And basically he had several different stories of how he got all these scratches. Yeah. One was that he had gotten in a fight in a bar in Newport over a beer, and another one was he got in a scuffle at some kind of a gas station or something. But he told a bunch of different stories about how he gotten scratched up. Why wouldn't you just pick a story and tell it to everybody?
The same one. Run
same
with
one.
It.
Just run. It would be easier. What are you, bored?
Maybe.
You bored lying? You know what? I'm pitching choose a better lie.
Maybe he told one lie and he didn't even believe it.
Yeah.
He's like, I got to spice that one up.
Or he's like, I could make myself sound cooler.
Yeah.
Here, rather than a scuffle, it was a bar fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he broke a stool over my back, but I turned around, hit him with a beer mug right in the face. And I won.
And the next time there was two guys.
And then there was two guys. One came up from behind, held me in a full Nelson lock, and the other one came up to hit me, but I raised my feet quick, kicked him in the chest, head-butted the guy in the nose behind me, grabbed the stool, turned around, cracked the guy holding me, and then squared up on the other guy like, what's up, motherfucker? And he was like, I don't want no piece of that. He ran out that back door faster than a rabbit shits, I tell you what.
Next time I see them, they want no part of me.
They want no part of me next time. Next time I walk in there, them both going to get up off their stool and leave. Because they know.
Next time I went in there, free beers on that?
Next time I went in there, them both bought me beers. Both of them. That's right. It's respect. Good fellas. You know why? Was that a respect?
He just breaks into Italian accent.
That's what he goes, you know why? Was that a respect? People are like, this guy is really confusing.
The coolest guy, too.
I mean, he's really cool, but he's confusing as shit. So he gives a bunch of different stories. They say, okay, where were you on this night? We're talking a year ago.
Yeah.
Jimmy, where were you on July 15th, 2019? Where were you?
I'd have to, you know what I can do is look at my Facebook and it'll tell me.
It'll tell you, yeah. In 1987, you go,
I don't know.
I don't fucking know. He says he does know, though.
What?
He says that
It's a big day.
It's a big day for him. He stayed at his grandmother's house that night. So, big day. Yeah, it's memorable. You know how it is. Remembers the date.
Yeah.
He said that night he'd been riding around with a friend and his friend's wife at the time of the murder. So he was just joyriding around with a buddy and a buddy's wife, and then they dropped him off at his grandma's house.
What a memory.
And he remembers that from a year ago. So very impressive here. Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? So over the course of these several different interviews, because they bring him in a few different times, he becomes more and more nervous and agitated because obviously if they're bringing you back, you didn't get away with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So during the course of these interviews, at one point, they asked him who killed Ann Jones then, because that's what she go, who killed Ann Jones? And he stated, quote, whoever done it needs help.
So he knows something.
Whoever done it needs help. That's a messed up thing, he told me. Well, they showed him pictures and all that shit. He knows what happened.
Right.
And another time he said, quote, if I'm convicted of what I've done, someone will have to pay.
Oh.
Which is I don't know what he was saying there.
It's a bad statement.
Yeah.
If I'm convicted of what I've done.
Yeah, not if I'm convicted of what you think I've done.
Right.
That would be a better thing. If I'm convicted of what they're accusing me of,
if I'm convicted,
there's going to be hell to pay.
Right.
Yeah, that would be different. But if y'all make me take responsibility for something I did, I ain't taking that line down. Not happening. Sorry.
Let me tell you about this story I did to these two fellas in a bar.
Oh, boy, let me tell you what. Oh, man.
And they didn't even try to put me in jail.
You ever seen Roadhouse?
Right.
Now, I used the techniques of Swayze trying to keep out, trouble starters. You know how it is here. Jeez. I just picture this guy thinking he's Patrick Swayze, and it's making me very fucking happy. It's like, you know what? I'm a handsome son-bitch, too.
I mean, he's getting some pretty young girls.
Oh,
it's pretty impressive.
That's not impressive. That is not impressive. Absolutely not impressive here. Now, during or after one of these interrogation sessions, he went home and tried to kill himself, which is an odd thing for an innocent person to do, I would think. Yeah. But I mean, who knows? If you had pressure, if you had some sort of mental shortcoming or mental just instability of any kind, you might have whatever. They asked him, well, why'd you do that? And he said that he was depressed and he had a lot on his mind.
Yeah.
You know how it is, man. The construction business is tough nowadays, and I don't know if that beam's going to hold it. I just don't know. I have nightmares at night. And I told the boss, I said, God damn it, if we're going to build the biggest Confederate theme park in the goddamn world, we got to do it quality. You know what I'm saying? It's got to last longer than the Confederacy.
Right.
So he said he had a lot on his mind. At his last interview that he did with them, they confronted him with a bunch of, because they had like 4 different statements from him over like 4 different interviews. They brought him in for another one, and they said, okay, you've been in here a bunch of times. Here's what we have. You said this, and then you said this. That's contradictory. You said this, but then what about that? That's contradictory. So his answer is to get up and walk out. No explanation. He just leaves.
Well, this isn't working. Y'all just going to use these words and show me how dumb I am then. I don't want any part of you.
I don't want it. If y'all just going to show me every time I'm lying and wrong,
then I'm not.
Why am I going to participate? I'm going to leave and go places where people believe my bullshit. Goodbye, sir. But he just got up and fucking left.
You can do that.
Well, if you're not under arrest. Yeah, if you're not under arrest, you can leave.
Right.
But, I mean, that gives him, that's a pretty...
This is more of a statement than saying, I just killed her.
Innocent people at least, like, would say, I didn't fucking do it, leave me alone, and then they leave. They wouldn't just be like, and take the fuck off out the door. That's a crazy thing to do.
Yeah.
What made him think that would be the solution to this? That'll get me off.
Wow.
Not, I don't remember. Sometimes I drink too much and I don't fucking know. Just something.
Right.
Anything is better than, I could see his eyes shifting back and forth from detective to detective, and then he just gets up and runs out the door. That can't be good for anybody. So what the fuck happened here?
I'd like to know.
Yeah, well, here is April's story. Because April's got the whole story, and she's going to fucking tell it. Now, April said she knew that her mother would have disapproved of her relationship with Gary if she knew his true age, of course.
Oh, so they've been telling her he's a young boy.
Well, April had told her mother that he was 18, which still
no.
The mother should have said, fuck no. You are 18 and 14 is not okay. I don't give a shit what plateau you're sitting atop, what Appalachian mountain shit place you are. You can't fuck 14-year-olds if you're 18. No. And you shouldn't want to. That's the other thing. You should hear 14 and go, oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know, stay in school or something. I'm going to go find your older sister. You should be your fucking, your attitude.
Yeah.
The hell is wrong with you? So instead, April became upset because Ann Jones and her mother were friends because they worked at shops right next to each other. So they knew each other very well. And apparently Ann Jones had a conversation with April's mother that caused April to disapprove of the relationship between April and Gary. Yeah. So she's pissed at Ann Jones there. Robertson Jones, all the names. Ann Jones, we're going to call her here. So April, she hated Jones for this. She was mad at her, and she was pissed that basically they tried to separate her and her boyfriend.
But the man was your age when you were born.
That's what I mean.
That's wild.
That's fucked up. And it's fucked up, too, because the fact that, like I said, he's 5'3", and he looks young, he can pull off 18. Right. They say he's 18. You see a little guy like that, you're like, oh, he doesn't look too threatening, and he's fine, and whatever. But no. Not okay.
Not at all.
He's 27. Ask for ID.
Right.
If you're unsure of the guy's age, let me see some ID. Why not? What's he going to say? No? Then you can't see my daughter.
Then it's weird. If he says no, it's even weirder.
Yeah, no, you can't see her then.
No is definitely a weirder response to that question than that question is to ask.
And if you're trying to date my daughter, I'd prefer your ID be in the form of a school ID, if possible. Like, let's make sure you're not... You know?
Yeah.
I don't even want a driver's license. Some guy puts out like his union ironworkers card. You're like, hold on a second here. This isn't okay.
His retired military card.
It's my AARP membership. I got that there. Okay. Got my voter registration. So, yes, she's obviously, they're all pissed off at both Ann Jones and the mother for not allowing this relationship because now the mother disapproves of this relationship.
Of course.
And, so apparently April said that her mother had told her that Jones told the mother that this guy was older than he says he is. Yeah. He's not 18. He's actually older than that, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, like a shitload older.
He's almost 30.
Yeah, he's in his late 20s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They stopped carding him, even though he's at 5'3".
Mm-hmm. That's
they see the mustache, and they know that's razor burn on his neck.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, he's been doing it. He's got a receding hairline by now. They're like, dude, yeah, it's not working out. And I knew this is fucked up too, because I knew this. Not this guy. I knew this girl in high school who was in one of our classes, and we all like kind of knew her. She was like 15, and she was going out with this guy who was like 22.
Yeah, and
her parents were okay with this.
What the fuck?
And this guy who was like 22, he was like just like a weird, like his parents died when he was young, and he was like lived with his like aunt and uncle, and he was like this like. I don't know, like everything he did was like 5 years earlier. Like he had some sort of developmental pause or some weird shit.
James, there's a thing that happens
fucking weird, dude.
In the human mind. Yeah. If your childhood is disrupted at all,
it is, you
regress to that.
Yeah.
You just identify as that.
And that's what he did.
Can't do that.
All of his friends were high school kids. Everyone he hung out with was so 15. Weird. And like he went out with this 15-year-old girl and everything. And I was like, I didn't like the guy. I was like, I'm not hanging out with this fucking weirdo.
Right.
I mean, he can buy us booze. That's good.
And then he can get the fuck out of here.
And then he can take the fuck off because I don't want to hang out with him. He's fucking weird. You know, whatever happened to him traumatically, psychologically, I'm sorry, sir, but I don't want to hang out with you if I'm a teenager and you're trying to fuck the sophomores around you. No. Not happening.
You can get into the bar with a cover charge. We have to bribe the bouncer with a lot more.
Sneak in. Right. Never mind. We're 15. So late June, early July 1987, before all this happened, the murder was July 11th. One night, 2 or 3 weeks before the actual murder, Ann Jones, the woman the deceased here, made Gary Coffrin leave her shop.
Okay.
He had been drinking. And he's bouncing around a fucking souvenir T-shirt shop, shit-faced, and acting in a disorderly manner.
Wow.
You don't act disorderly in the T-shirt shop. Like, that's just weird. It's a strange behavior.
What are you doing, man?
Yeah. So Jones instructed him that he is not allowed in the shop anymore and he has to leave. Yeah. And then told April's mother, hey, your daughter's boyfriend came in my shop shit-faced. He's not 18 years old. He's fucking drunk. He's got a 40 in his hand. Something's wrong here. Taking swigs off a flask like an 80-year-old. Something's up.
He's got a rocks class in here. He doesn't even have the 40s taped to his hands like a college student.
No,
he's clearly past that.
Yeah, he's way past that. He knows what he's doing here. He knows what the fuck he's doing. So basically, this obviously pissed off Gary. Mm-hmm. He was super mad, and he told April, his girlfriend, who's 14, who, by the way, if you're 14 and you're going out with a 27-year-old, number one, go to the police now.
Yes.
First, your parents, have them call the cops.
Right.
Do that. Or if your parents are shitty, go right to something. Somebody needs to be made aware of this.
One way or another, find law enforcement.
Yeah, and number two, if your boyfriend says this to you, then definitely do those things. Gary told April that he would like to catch Ann Jones, quote, out one night and slice her throat for kicking him out of the T-shirt shop.
Yeah.
He had his eyes on a fucking Dollywood shirt that he needed, and they were the only ones that had it.
Yeah.
You know what it is. They didn't have it in a large, and he started getting mad.
Right.
Or he didn't have it in a small, I should say. He's like, is medium the smallest you have? I'm going to be swimming in this thing.
The W in Dollywood is a butterfly.
There you go. Perfect. See, he wanted the shirt.
Yeah.
He really wanted it.
Attracts kids.
It's the thing. Yep.
A big butterfly.
Big butterfly.
The butterfly's like a net.
I was going to say that's his personal net.
Yeah.
Basically, that's butterfly. Nets catch butterflies. Butterflies will be nets for kids. All right.
Catching kids.
Break.
Gross.
Catch me a girlfriend. Let's go do this.
Oh, boy.
So what he did was Gary suggested to April, say, hey, why don't you do something here? Why don't you act like you're friends with Ann there? Because she's your mom's friend. You know, you're supposed to be buddy-buddy with her. Right. Why don't you accompany her to her house after work? You know, help her do something, somehow get to her house after work, and then you can tell me where she lives and give me directions there, is what she said, is what he asked her. He also asked April to watch Jones as she closed her shop to see where she puts her money, and also ask her, you know, just basic questions to find out if she's married, has a telephone, or pets. These are all questions that you would seek out when you're going to go burglarize somewhere.
To get in
telephone
there.
question, pets, how many people live there, where's the money. These are all things that you would do when you're scoping a fucking joint out to bump it off.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does a 14-year-old recognize that? I mean, if you're...
Well, he said, I'd like to catch her out one night and slice her throat.
Excellent point.
So I would imagine that she probably... I mean, I would say, and the thing is, like, we'll talk about it, but he is not the brightest bulb.
No.
At all. He's not. His IQ is in the high 70s. Ooh. And not the brightest bulb at all. We'll get into that.
He needs all this information and knows he needs this information.
Yeah. He's got all this. But her, we don't know. She might be, we don't know her intelligence level, but she might be smart. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? An adult that's not that smart and a teenager who's average, they're going to be on the same level. Right. You know what I mean? Intellectually. So that might be a part of it.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So, and that's why a lot of these people are attracted to children, which is fucked up because they're fucked up in the head.
Right.
So they're going to go after kids. So the week before the murder here, April says that she and Gary began talking about going to Anne's house.
Yeah.
They were going to go to her house. She said that Gary instructed her to bring a towel and a knife to, quote, gut Ann Jones. Said he was going to gut her, is what he said. That was his exact words to her, which is interesting.
So bring a towel.
Bring a towel and a knife to gut her with.
Yeah.
So like we're going to catch trout.
Right.
Make sure to bring a towel, bring a knife. Obviously, we're going to have to gut them when we're there.
A lot more guts in a person than a trout.
That's what I'm saying. So Friday, July 10th, this is the day before the murder, at about 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock p.m., Gary came to April's house. He's driving an older model green and white 442 Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Hell yeah.
That's a fucking cool car.
Yeah, it is.
He's got a badass muscle car.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Big
dope.
Motor in it.
Yeah, that's
Rust
dope.
Tires all day.
We don't know if it's like a well-kept one or because it's 87.
Yeah.
So there was still like shitty ones out there that were just 15 years old, 20 years old and not great.
Right.
Now there's the only ones of those on the road are restored pristinely.
They're beautiful.
Perfect. Yeah. So he had just purchased it though. This is like his new ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
is it convertible? Do we know?
We don't know.
Those are so rad.
They're so fucking cool looking. Yeah,
they're so cool.
They're badass looking. Yeah, those and
like
the
car.
GTOs and they're just
Pontiac figured out a couple models.
They're fucking dope. So this is a Cutlass here. So
this is Oldsmobile.
This Oldsmobile is an old Cutlass here. He told April that he would return that night, and the two of them would go over to Ann Jones's house as they had planned earlier. So April says that. Jesus Christ, this is what's, as a parent, this makes you just not want to go to sleep here, ever. Really, never, ever. April says that after her mother went to sleep, she cut a blue terry cloth towel into strips and waited for Gary to arrive. Okay. So I guess he instructed her ahead of time to cut a towel into strips.
Do some arts and crafts.
Get the glue out, and do your thing. And this is after the mother went to sleep. So the mother goes to sleep thinking, my 14-year-old nice daughter maybe has some homework to do, and then she's going to crash out. Maybe she'll watch a little TV. No, she's cutting towels into strips, waiting for a guy who's almost 30 to pull up in a shitty, broken-down muscle car. Wow, this is just not okay. Disturbing. So he picked her up after midnight. Okay. So, he had been drinking. Of course, you want to get in the car with people who've been drinking usually. And this guy seems like most of the time he's been drinking. Yeah. I think it's just one of those. But according to April, he wasn't drunk. Okay. He just was, feeling it. Yeah. Had a nice little buzz going on. And another person, Vicky Worth, said that she had seen Gary drinking beer and smoking weed outside of a restaurant at about 10 or 11 o'clock that night. So he's smoking weed and he's drinking and whatever, but this seems like regular behavior for him. He's not all fucked up or anything like that.
This gets him even keeled.
Yeah, drives fine. This is just what he does. Now, on their way to Ann Jones' house, April and Gary gave April alcohol as well, and they did some coke as well. Yeah. So, you want to give your 14-year-old girlfriend cocaine, obviously. Clearly, you got to give her some coke, right? Why not? Jesus Christ. Here's some booze. Oh, wait a second. You're not old enough for that. Let me give you some coke instead.
You're not damaging this person enough.
No.
Put drugs inside her.
Dude, this girl is living like she's fucking hanging out at Studio 54 over here. She's having sex and doing drugs and drinking and shit. I mean,
planning a murder.
She's fucking 14. Wow. If she was doing all this shit, obviously I'm not encouraging kids, whatever, but if she was doing all this shit with kids her own age, it would be like, okay, well, we need to ground her or something, whatever. But this guy is 27. None of this shit is her idea. She's not like, you got any fucking coke or what? When she gets in the car, She's not like, pass the booze and where the fuck is the coke? Did you pick it up like I told you to, you lazy fuck? I gave you the guy's number. I know the guy. Yeah. Tell him it's for me. He'll hook you up. She's fucking 14.
That's why they put vinyl on this dash.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Fucking put it on the dash, babes. Let's do it. No, don't turn the heat on. Don't do that.
Don't turn the defrost.
Oh, God, no. Don't turn the defrost on. Oh, Jesus
Blow
Christ.
Blow it all over this car.
Yeah. So they say that they did that. They drank and took some coke, and they walked to Ann's house from the parking lot of a nearby nursing home where they parked the Oldsmobile. Yeah. So it's down the street a little bit. With him, Gary is holding the handle of a pool stick, basically. Yeah. Like half a pool stick. The pool sticks that unscrew in half that you put in the little case? I got one of those.
The one from the bar.
Yeah, I got one right down there. Yeah. So, I don't have a pool table, but I have a stick. So
just in case you stumble upon
I've
one.
had it for so long. I don't know. So,
hopefully that fucking table has balls.
Yeah, I'm going to need those. I used to have one in New York, so I had the
just
stick.
That's actually a pretty great thing, though. Just stand next to a pool table, sans balls, just holding the cue.
Just holding the cue?
Just wait.
It's happened. Or just stand in the back with no pool table at all. Just stand there with a pool cue and just have people go, what the fuck is that kind of table around here? Because people would look around the room like, there's got to be a table, right?
They might wander and go, where's the pool table?
Like, chalk your cue and everything. Like, chalk it up, put it in your pocket, hold it. Like, act like you're about to take a shot.
Have it screwed together and stand in the corner.
People just going, is he?
What the fuck is that?
Is there a back room? What's that door? I thought that was outside. That's a back room, I guess. He's holding the pool. He must be waiting for his next game. I don't know. They only allow the participants in. I have no idea how it works.
I think that's a great idea.
That's a fucking... Try that. Somebody,
just
please.
Stand next to a back door in a bar and just be
with the
like,
cue.
It's in there.
Yeah. Be like, someone will ask you, is there a table? Just be like, yeah, it's right there. Here. Fucking emergency exit sign. Like, don't listen to that. They just put that up so you don't know. It's a kind of a private room.
They're very much like a speakeasy.
It's for regulars.
Only the good people know it's there.
You got to know it's there. You just push it open. Push it right open.
And people just walk out the emergency exit.
Fucking
door
alarm
shuts
sounding. Door shuts behind them. They're locked out in an alley. Next thing you know, this guy's out there to try to rape their daughter. Perfect. It's perfect. Guys, this is what I need you to do. Everyone out there, please. Go stand in the back, just chalking up a cue. Really look like you got it, like you're,
right.
You know,
like
I got to chalk this.
Like it's your shot.
It keeps coming off. It's all shiny. Got to chalk it up.
Awesome.
Oh, I want to hear about it if you do that. Please get at us on social media if
Send
you do
a video
if
and
you do that. Yeah, if you can. But otherwise, just tell us what happened because I'm curious. So they walked there from the nursing home. With him, he's got the handle of a pool stick, and around the pool stick, he had put a bunch of gray duct tape around it to make it like heavier, like you do with a wiffle bat.
Like on the tip?
Like on the handle and on the tip. You ever do like, if you play wiffle, get a wiffle bat and a tennis ball, you duct tape up the wiffle bat up the whole way. You got to duct tape the handle too, or else it'll fold in half with the thing. And you can hit a tennis ball 700 feet. It's amazing. I have a wiffle bat.
It's really awesome. You watch you do the math of how far that goes.
About 700 feet. It's so far, dude. I'm telling you. And the bat's heavy as fuck. Like it's because you'll do it, make it the width of a regular bat, like, you know, an inch of duct tape all around it. It's heavy as shit, and when you make contact, it's just like ba-boom, and this fucking tennis ball flies so far. It's amazing, though. You feel like fucking Giancarlo Stanton. You're just like, this is great. I'm hitting fucking jacking bombs out of this place.
I'm Ted fucking Williams.
I'm
the best fucking hitter in this game.
Son of a bitch. No limp dick cocksucker's gonna put a fuck crack. Listen to Crime and Sports this week if you don't get that reference, because you will if you get it. So it's very funny.
Whacking balls down the street.
Yeah, so he's got a duct taped up pool cue and also pieces of a bunch of sheer material, like a curtain or a tablecloth that he already had in his car, all prepared. Okay. He had pieces, and then she had the strips of towel.
Sweet.
It's teamwork, Jimmy.
His and hers home project.
That's terrific. Crafts.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah. Little rhinestones on them. It's bedazzled.
Work when we meet up.
It's nice. And then he gives her, on the way to the house, he hands her a survival knife. Gives her like a knife, basically, just in case. I don't know. She's got a knife now. So he creeps up into the house by himself, opens the door, kind of goes in for 10 seconds or so, and then pops back out the door and waves her inside. He goes in first to make sure. It's very chivalrous.
Very sweet.
Very chivalrous. No, I'll go make sure first. And then...
It's the murder equivalent of putting your jacket on a puddle.
That's what it was. It was exactly what it was. Chivalrous. Yeah. It's nice. He goes in, gets her, and as they go down the hall, they look around a little bit. And as they go down the hall, April could hear Jones talking. Jones says, "Who is it? Who is it yelling out there?" Because she could hear noises. "Who is it? What's going on?" Is what she hears from the bedroom. Then what ends up happening is Gary walks up to the bedroom door where the Ann Jones is, and it's locked. So he kicks it open, which sounds like about the most frightening thing a human being could experience: being in your own bed, in your own home.
You hear the door rattle. And then a boot comes through it.
Literally door flies off fucking hinges, and you got some crazed fuck with a duct taped up pool cue and a teenager in tow and a bunch of pieces of fucking with a knife and a bunch of pieces of material. This is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like literally, this is what people have nightmares about.
And it's someone you now recognize because
that's the other thing.
Oh Jesus, I've snitched that man
He
out.
doesn't like me.
Right.
It's not, this is somebody that I've never seen before.
Right.
Maybe they want money. He's pissed.
Yeah.
And I see she's got a knife and he's got a fucking pool cue and they don't look happy and this is not okay. And it's the middle of the night. This woman was sleeping, for Christ's sake. I mean, this is the most terrifying thing, literally, that could happen to a human being. So, he does that. According to what April says, Ann Jones pleads with them not to hurt her. Obviously. I mean, she doesn't tell him to fuck off, get out of my place, you're drunk. She says, please don't hurt me. But they told her that she's going to die. That's what they said. They said, oh no, you're going to die. Which, again, horrible. So what ended up happening now is Gary hits Jones several times with the pool stick. Starts beating her with the pool stick over the head and across the body and face. He's fucking wailing on her with a pool cue, which is horrifying. Half a pool cue, too, which is a lot of force. If it was longer, it would be less forceful.
The fat part.
It's not great. So eventually, Ann Jones falls across her bed and becomes silent and stops moaning. So at this point, it's probably when he fractured her skull and rendered her unconscious, one would imagine here. Now, April has some confusion on chronology here and there, but the story all comes together pretty seamlessly. Apparently, at some point during all of this, she comes to again, Jones, because at some point he's trying to gag Jones to stop her from screaming. So that's where the gag came from, because she's screaming, and then that's when he ties her up with the strips of towel and the sheer material that she's got all over her when they found her. Somewhere in there that happened, where he whacked her, she fell, came around again, and then he ended up trying to tie her up and all that sort of thing. She also says, April says that Gary tightened the terry cloth strip around Ann's neck, causing her to gasp. At that point, she heard a gasp come from Ann Jones, and then she said that she actually jumped in. April jumped in herself and hit Ann in the head 2 times with the pool cue while he was trying to keep her at bay. He said, you give her a whack, and she came over and hit her with the pool cue to participate, I guess, to help. I don't know.
Or she's fucking horrified and just wants it to stop.
That's what I mean. Or she could be scared. Or she's a coked up teenager who's been told to hit somebody in the head. And she's all right, crack. I don't fucking know. I mean, who knows? Honestly, it's
like this. Am I doing good?
Yeah, 14. 14 is the type of age too where some 14-year-olds are like 18-year-olds. Some 14-year-olds are like 10-year-olds, and everything in between. So we don't know what her level of maturity is. Either way, not mature enough to be going out with an adult man, but it's crazy. We don't know what her mental state is.
That a 14-year-old does something and does it well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're bad at everything.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't hit him in the balls with the stick by accident. Kids are bad at shit, basically. They're known for it.
My son's 12. I tell him to rinse his plate. And watching a child...
Oh, it's a disaster.
Rinsing a plate before it goes in the dishwasher. I'm just like, why did I even tell him to do that? Why don't I just do that?
There's water everywhere, splashing out of the sink. Yeah, shit splashed all over the place. Yeah, my son is a fucking
Why are
mess
you
with
so
stuff.
bad at that?
So easy. My son cannot fucking plug the HDMI thing back into where it was from his fucking Nintendo Switch when he comes over with it. He refuses to. So then I turn the TV on, and I'm on the Apple TV, and I'm clicking it, and I'm like, why won't the fucking Apple TV come on? And I'm like, oh, because it's not fucking plugged into the goddamn television. That's why, because fucking it's so...
Somebody just yanked it out and left it.
That's what happens. So imagine that. Imagine me trying to murder with him. It wouldn't be good.
No, Joey, again.
No, put it. I said in the. Oh my God! I swear. You know what? Never mind.
We're not torturing. We're killing.
We're killing.
Joey.
I try to take you along for some bonding, a nice father-son murder, and you just can't do anything right. I'm sorry.
How far apart are knees and heads, Joey?
Jesus Christ.
The fucking knees.
That's literally what's going on here. So that would be me with my son. So he hits her twice. Now, it's at this point that, Jesus Christ, all right, this is, not that this all isn't brutal, but from here on in for the next couple minutes, it's a little rough here. What he does next, and this is how April describes to the police officers, Gary turns Jones over on her stomach and tries to have sex with her.
Why?
Tries to anally penetrate her here. So he's tries to rape an unconscious woman is what he's trying to do, because she's unconscious at this point. Yeah. So he then can't do it, though, can't make it work for whatever reason. So he complains about this, stops and looks over to April, literally upset, and goes, "She tightened up on me."
Oh, boy.
That's what he said.
That's the grossest thing I've ever heard.
Pissed off.
Yeah.
And then that's when he slapped her on the right buttock very hard, from what April said.
Spank.
He was pissed that he couldn't get in. Couldn't get it in there.
My God.
So it's at that point that he says, "Well, let's see, April. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to rape an unconscious woman here. It won't work with her. Let's just have sex, me and you, instead."
What?
Right here. So, I'm all jacked up now.
Yeah.
So, why don't I go from trying to, rape a corpse to a teenager instead?
Why is he? How is he even capable?
How is this doesn't render your sexual urges fucking null and void? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
If I see this, the last thing I'm not is like, I'm going to go fuck now.
Right.
They're never going to enter my mind.
Oh,
never. It might be a few days before that thought enters my fucking mind.
If ever again.
And it won't, as long as that picture's in my mind, I'm not going to be thinking about it for a while.
We're still in the room. It's not in my mind. It's literally right there.
That's what I mean.
My head back in my head.
She is fucking still breathing here.
Right.
And he's like, well, let's have sex, me and you then. So, oh my God. Okay, well, let's get right into it. Mm-hmm. After the two of them undressed, okay, well, here we go. Say this 15 times. Sorry to keep resetting, but it's crazy shit. It's wild. And I'm laughing out of a severe discomfort here. He then collects a shitload of blood from the victim and rubs it all over both of their bodies.
What the fuck, man?
April and himself.
No.
They cover each other in blood. Okay, head to toe, he smears blood all over both of them, and they have sex like that. On the floor next to the bed where she is dying.
Yeesh.
They covered each other in blood and had sex with each other like this.
Oh, boy.
While covered in blood. Yeah. Okay, so...
Okay, got it.
Let's gather our thoughts there. The psychology behind that is, I don't even know where to start with that.
I mean, the beginning is you're having sex with a child.
Yeah, then okay. But that's terrible, but right. it's at least something that we're familiar with.
He has made that much less gruesome.
That's like the 6th grossest thing he's done this week, is have sex with a child. So... which is saying something. That's saying something.
That much easier to stomach.
I mean, it's like I said, it's all subjective, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, relatively compared to what's happening now.
Oh boy!
And then I'm going to kill her because she told on me. What does he think? He was going to fucking be with some teenage girl forever?
Yeah.
Yeah. She told on you. Relationship's over. Fucking move on and find an adult. Instead, he's going to take revenge on this woman
after feeding a child Coke.
After giving a child cocaine and then having blood-soaked sex next to a dying woman. I don't even know.
Shit, man.
Why would you want to wipe the person's blood all? And it's not just a little, they didn't put some war paint. They fucking covered each other in blood.
Eesh.
I mean, that's why there's blood everywhere and thing all rubbed all over the floor. What the daughter didn't understand,
right?
Because of the way it was like if she was tied up, how the hell did she get on the floor and back up without leaving a trail smeared? That doesn't make sense. She didn't. Well, it gets worse, Jimmy. Yeah. It gets worse somehow. It is at this point that April says Gary insisted that they have not gone far enough. Obviously, they've done what they've done. It is at this point that he says that they need to drink some of the victim's blood.
Oh, good Christ.
That's the only thing that's going to make this better. Yeah. Now, they don't dip their finger in it like you're testing a sauce or something. You know what I mean?
How you drink.
That's, you know what I mean? Get like a teaspoon and, like you're
taking your medicine.
Yeah. Like it's Dimetap or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Like you're giving her teenage Motrin?
Yeah. You know what? She would still qualify to take children's medicine. Right. Like you're giving her liquid children's Tylenol that tastes like cherry.
Or bubble gum.
Yeah. Or bubble gum. That's what's going on here.
This is nuts.
Instead, he produces shot glasses.
What?
That he has.
Yeah.
It turns out that they're the victim shot glasses. She has a shot glass collection, which I'm sure has a Dollywood logo on it. So he fills 2 shot glasses with April Jones's blood.
Oh, that's so much blood.
And they do a little salute, and they fucking do shots of this woman's blood.
Oh, my word.
While they're covered in blood and nude, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope nobody's eating through all this, because this is rough, okay?
How do you... I don't get from A to B here.
Well... They said, why did you do this to April? Did he say why he wanted to do this? And he said that both having sex while they were smeared in her blood and drinking their blood, he said, quote, we'd receive power from it.
Oh, boy.
That's what he told her. We're going to receive power from this. Yeah. She said, so they were like, is this like a devil worship thing or what's going on here? And she said that she, quote, dabbled with a little Satanism.
Dabbled.
But, there wasn't any ritual thing. She's just, she dabbles here and there. Who doesn't?
Right.
You know how it is. But yeah, they each drank a shot glass full of blood. Then she said that she went to the bathroom to try to throw up, but didn't throw up.
I tried to throw it up, but my body loved it.
My body just kept it down. Any point in this, I could have thrown up at will. Like, if I was in that room, literally at any point during this whole thing, you could have said, how about now? And I went, no problem. Like, on fucking command. Anything. The beating, the blood, the sex, the fucking blood smearing, the everything.
The thought of going to prison for fucking a child makes me want to throw up.
That's what I mean.
That alone.
The thought of fucking a child makes me want to throw up. Never mind going to prison for it, too, because that's both.
That's a great point.
It's Jesus. Yeah, you got to do the first part, which is the gross part.
Right.
That's worse than prison.
But I'm saying it for him.
Yeah.
How does he even get to this point?
How do you get even close to here?
Oh, this is so horrific.
If you throw a rock through the shop window and fucking run away, that's it. Hey, revenge is mine. Like, what are you doing? Who does this?
She's got to now book a place to fix the window.
It's a pain in the ass. She's got to put like cardboard up. She's got to have somebody guard it until it gets fixed. Otherwise, people could just go in her shop and take everything.
Day.
It's a bad. What if it rains?
Right.
It's a fucking bad day. Instead, he's like, nope, I'm going to drink her blood. First, I'll bathe in it, of course, but then I'll drink it. Yeah, so
all for telling how old he really is.
That's it.
That's her crime.
Slightly pissing him off.
Oh my God.
To try to help a woman, look out for her 14-year-old daughter. It's not like she did anything that was out of line.
For protecting a child.
This is normal. Like, this isn't like, how dare she go out of her way to fuck me over? And no, she just did the right thing that any normal-minded human adult person would fucking do. Try to protect a teenager against this asshole. So, she said that she went to throw up, but she didn't. When she returned to the bedroom after trying to throw up, she saw Gary again repeatedly striking Jones in the back with the pool cue.
Yeah.
So I just kept wailing on her just to, I don't know if he was bored. You're in the bathroom. I got nothing to do.
Yeah.
No social media to scroll through back then. You just...
My drinking buddy left.
Yeah, you just beat a dead woman with a pool cue.
Wow.
So at that point, they were like, all right, well, let's find out what's in her purse. Mm-hmm. So she says Gary dumped out the contents of her purse, and as they left, they took what appeared to be, to her, she said, a large amount of money. It's probably the store's take for the day, I assume. Now, outside, she said they got outside, and he asked her for the knife back. Which, if I'm her, I'm like, no, I'm not giving you shit. I am always going to have a weapon if I'm around you at this point. Like, that's it. I don't trust your shit anymore at all.
Right.
No fucking way. But she gave him back the knife, and he uses it to cut the telephone lines. He cuts the telephone lines with the knife. Now, afterwards, because she wasn't going to get to the phone, and he knew that, but he wanted to make it look like it was like this planned, organized thing. Who knows who she pissed off? She might be in with the mafia.
Right.
She might have gotten upside down with the people at the Sinatra Rat Pack Museum, and you know how they get. So, who knows here? Yeah.
I heard the people with the I Heart New York store.
Jesus Christ!
I Heart Pigeon Forge shirt store. It's war down here.
We're going to war with Paula Deen. Her and her goddamn pirate logging adventures, whatever the fuck she had, lumberjack bullshit. It's her people, I know it. They always cut the phone lines. So yeah, they empty it out. She takes the She takes, they have the money. He cuts the telephone lines, and that's that. Now, where do they go? They're covered in blood. So, I mean, when you're leaving
Jesus.
They're covered in blood. I mean, jump in the shower. No,
they got to go back to the old folks' home.
Yeah,
the car.
Well, first they go down behind a store into a river and try to wash off in a river.
Okay,
that's their plan.
Okay,
they just like jump in a river and bathe in a river.
Okay,
that's clean.
All right.
I'm sure very clean.
Did she bring the toothbrush for this?
I know this is he took the toothbrush, not her.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He ended up with the toothbrush.
He has it right now?
We'll find out. So, where do they go next? They drove to Dollywood, where I swear to God, you just butchered a woman, then raped a child, bathed in that woman's blood. What are you going to do? I'm going to Dollywood. What the fuck are you doing?
I heard there's whores there.
What the fuck are you doing?
What did they go to Dollywood
I'm
for?
going to Dollywood.
Did they go there to as a date?
They fucking went to Dollywood, where they met several people.
What? Went to sing a fucking Coat of Many Colors?
What the fuck are you doing? It's the middle of the night. I don't know if it's just a hangout spot. Meet me at Dollywood.
Wow.
What the fuck?
You gotta go get a cup of ambition.
That's what I mean.
What is happening?
My mind is just, I don't even know what
I can't believe it tied back in.
Why? That's what I mean. They went to fucking Dollywood.
That's unbelievable.
I'm going to Dollywood. They met several people there, one of whom is a guy named Kevin Carver, who threatened April with harm if she, quote, got Gary in trouble.
Oh.
So, yeah, apparently, I think that means because she's young.
Right.
Probably. There's no reference whether he knows about the murder or whether it's just she's 14.
He's threatening to beat up a child for telling on his friend who fucks kids.
For molesting a child.
What is it?
That's
there
normal.
any sane people in this?
Absolutely not. Nobody.
I mean, apart from the person they just killed?
Apart from April's mom and fucking Ann Jones, no. I think there's one woman sleeping and the other one's been murdered. Those are the only two sane people in town.
This is unbelievable.
This is fucking ridiculous. So, later that morning, several people saw Gary when he arrived at Settlers Village because he came back there the next morning because he had to work there. He was wearing only cut-off jeans and tennis shoes. He's all class all the way. All class. And he's got scratches all over his back and stomach and face. So you'd think you'd put a fucking shirt on to cover those.
Wow.
He looks like he's got mauled by a tiger.
He was bush hogging, James.
Yeah, that's what it is. Out in the pucker brush? Yeah, that's how it works there. You got to bush hog the pucker brush or else it gets out of control. You know how it is, right? If you don't bush hog the pucker brush, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
You don't know what grows in there.
When you do, you will get scratched up.
You're going to get scratched up. You got to take it off. Otherwise, what ends up happening is these little animals get trapped in there. These little dingleberries, they call them. They get trapped in the pucker brush.
Gross.
So, he is wearing all of this. He's got scratches on his back, stomach, and face. And also, several people saw what they described as, quote, dried blood all over him as well.
Wow. He didn't even bathe well.
They just dipped in the river real quick, which blood's sticky. It's hard to get off.
You got to rub on it.
You got to rub on it a little bit.
When it dries up.
Yeah. If you've ever made yourself bleed and had blood all over yourself and had to wait a minute to wash it off, you got to kind of give it a scrub.
Kind of a pain in the ass.
Washcloth helps. Yeah, it's a good thing. You need a little texture to get it off of your skin there. It's difficult. So, April's mother sees him because they go to the shop and he's not supposed to be seeing her, but he still is. And it's kind of a weird. So April's mother commented to him rather than get away from my daughter or I'll stab you in the face, which should have been her comment.
Right.
Instead, her comment was that told him that he, quote, looked like some sort of wild woman got a hold of him the night before. So now you're making this is your daughter's too old to be with her boyfriend. So you're making sexual references to it. That's just a weird thing to do.
Of a woman who's age appropriate and is really fucking horny.
That's what I mean. So he just kind of made a little kind of like one of those little smirk type of deal.
Right.
And he said, quote, no, I just got in a fight over a beer in a bar in Newport. Mm-hmm. And then he went in the store's restroom and cleaned himself up. He's like, oh shit, I didn't realize I was such a fucking mess. So,
It's all coming back.
Oh wow, they're all noticing. So another guy, April's mother's boyfriend, Robert Yoakum, he teased Gary about the blood. And Jesus Christ. And Gary told him that, quote, a bitch had hit him in the head with a beer bottle. That was his, that's where all the blood came from. Damn bitches and beer bottles. You know how that goes. And they were like, that sounds about right. Okay. Now, again, this is the mother's boyfriend of the 14-year-old that you're wanting to be an item with.
Right.
You're like, I've gotten a fight in a bar over a beer and some bitch hit me with a beer bottle. Anywhere near your 14-year-old or not? No. Okay, that's what I thought here. Coffrin then took April aside and warned her not to tell what had happened. Listen, fucking, because they're going to ask you questions too. You don't say shit about it. So the two of them left the shops with Yoakum as well, and they went to April's mother's house. Why is he allowed to be anywhere near her? I don't fucking know. Where he actually went and took a shower now. He got fully cleaned up here. Later that day, he spray painted his car silver.
Rattle can.
Yeah, spray painted his car class.
Yeah.
He's all class. Cut off jeans, fucking fucked up sneakers, spray painting a classic car. That's trash as it gets right there. That is panhandle behavior. Yes. If nothing else in the show has been, that is the most panhandle. Sure. So, and he tells April it's to prevent anyone who might have seen it the night before from identifying it. Obviously. Well, yeah, it was a 442, but no, it wasn't a drippy spray painted one. It was a different color. I think they might get the hint. It's been quickly spray painted. No, except the one I saw didn't have just drips of spray paint coming off of it. So different car, I think.
Clearly not that one.
Not that one, obviously. Same license plate, but,
It wasn't still sticky.
Yeah, it was a different car. Tom Bentley, who worked on Gary's car sometime after this murder, he said that he had used pieces of blue terry cloth towel that he found in the trunk of the car as grease rags. So, there were the same ones that were used to tie. He said that the rags matched the toweling that he was shown later on at trial. So the rags match.
I'll bet he feels fucking gross.
Yeah, he used that as grease rags. Yeesh. And when Bentley had asked him why he wanted to paint the car, Coffrin replied, well, the lady that just got killed, somebody might recognize it and I need to paint it. That's what he told this guy. Why wouldn't he just go, Just felt like change.
Not a fan of yellow.
Looking for a change. Nope. The lady that got killed, somebody might recognize it. That's what he says. He's not very bright here. A Jimmy Lynn Huxley also here. That's a Husky. Sorry. Jimmy Lynn Husky. He testifies later on here. He talks about in 1986, because the police are talking to all his friends, when he and Gary were friends, Gary, quote, used to draw demons and stuff. Okay. I don't know what the fuck that has to do with anything. Yeah. And that he had a pool stick that came apart like the one they described to him, right. Something like that. And that he kept light-colored lace tablecloth or curtain material in his car, similar to the sheer material used to bind.
Two of those things are relevant to this murder.
Exactly. And also, here's another thing that Gary had talked to Jimmy Lynn Husky about tying up women during sex, and that, quote, slapping them on the butt really turned him on. Okay. So, yeah. Now, April's mother, she says that she had sold Gary a silver ring with turquoise and coral inlay with a Thunderbird design on it a few months before the murder. That's not good. This is she ends up saying it's the one that Christy Jones Scott found in the driveway. Mm-hmm. Not good. This is all bad for him. So while he was staying at her house shortly out, because they let him stay at their house.
Why?
Shortly after that, Cruz noticed that he, quote, had an odd toothbrush for a man. Yeah. It was a pink brush with a little rubber tip, and it is a pink Oral-B toothbrush, same model and same whatever that the daughter described missing from her mother's house.
Wait a minute.
Yes, he stole the toothbrush to use as his toothbrush.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's like, well, I need a toothbrush too.
That's the weirdest part of this.
We've never had a murder where someone was like, I'm going to steal all the shit in the purse. That toothbrush looks good.
Are those blue bristles still blue at the end?
Oh, my God. Jesus.
That's not even replaced yet.
I got 3 months left on this one. This is going to be great.
Gross.
This is, takes her toothbrush to use it.
Is it more gross to steal a toothbrush to use it or to fuck in the blood?
I was going to say probably fuck bathed in the blood and probably drink the blood would probably rank higher.
I think fuck a child in the blood is the grosser part.
All right, let's figure out for one. We got to do like a triage here.
Yeah.
All right, number one,
Yeah.
fucking a child. Child rape bathed in blood. That's number one.
Yeah.
That's the worst. Drinking said blood. That's a hard second.
Yeah.
It's a hard second
It
place.
really is.
Like it's up there with a
Right.
bullet. Like
Yeah.
it's close.
I'm thinking of like disease ability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's definitely it.
Well,
you're in the right spot so far.
And then the toothbrush comes after that.
Because you could use somebody's toothbrush that has AIDS and you may not get AIDS.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's true. Or HIV,
if you
yeah.
drink their blood, probably going to get it.
Maybe. I don't think he cares much for that either way.
I'll bet it's a closer chance of getting it if you put the blood inside you.
Yeah, I would assume.
And if you just brush your
I'm
teeth.
surprised he didn't just jam it into his vein.
Right.
You bring a syringe, I'm going to shoot a... Jesus Christ. So, this is crazy.
Wow.
So, what ends up happening, they arrest April and Gary here.
Mm-hmm.
They arrest him. 3 inmates who are incarcerated with Gary in the Cook County, or Cock, C-O-C-K-E, Cock.
Yeah.
Cock County Jail
boy.
testified later on about statements that he made to them concerning everything. In the summer of 1988, a guy named Tim Magaha asked Gary if he had committed the murder, and he said that Gary just smiled, and he told Magaha that he had been drunk and partying the night of the murder. Then he called Ann Jones a bitch. And said that he and also told Magaha that he lost his ring while he was there. Coffin told another prisoner, Roy Haynes, that on the night of the murder, he and his girlfriend had driven to a house on Cove Road or Cove Mill Road. The Ann Jones lived on Cole Drive, so close enough. Cove Road, Cole Road, in Pigeon Forge, and that from that point, he, quote, couldn't remember nothing. He was so messed up on cocaine. So he took the cocaine.
That's a lot of cocaine.
And that makes you want to drink blood.
Yeah.
It's weird because a lot of people did coke in the 80s and they still do it now.
Right.
And there wasn't a lot of blood drinking going on due to the coke taking. You know, no one sniffed it and was like, fuck, dude, empty a vein into a shot glass
Has there
for
been
me.
many people that blacked out on coke? You know what I mean?
I mean, it
like
happens,
like you do with booze.
It's not the same thing. Yeah, it's not the same. I mean, he could be real high, but I don't think he can afford to get that high.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's my point.
That's
if
what I
he's
mean.
rattle can in a car.
With fucking Tennessee Coke, 80s Tennessee Mountain Coke, that wasn't good. That shit'd been stepped on 40 times by the time it got there.
He couldn't even
me?
buy a gun.
No,
he had an old pool cue.
Fuck, yeah, that's his weapon. Good God. So he ends up telling another guy here in prison, Coffin does, that when he woke up the next morning, he had blood all over him, and he did not know whether or not he killed Ann Jones. He didn't know whether she was dead or what. Then he saw a newspaper article mentioning the homicide, and immediately he thought about his girlfriend snitching on him. And he was like, she's going to snitch on me. I know it. Yeah. They found her. Like, they weren't going to find her in her fucking house. Another inmate, a guy named Bobby Floyd, he says that Gary told him that the victim was a bitch as well, and that who had threatened to, quote, tell some girl's mother how old he was, and that the only evidence that police had against him was an article of clothing with blood on it, and, quote, the only mistake I made was involving April because she's going to tell on me. So,
and also killing people.
Also killing people, drinking blood, raping children. There's a lot.
He's done a lot of
things. It's a potpourri, really, is to use a Seinfeldism there. It's fucking crazy.
He's really bringing it all together.
It's a lot. So you're making a stew, sir. Yes. Your own stew. To reference last week. So, the charges here, Coffin he pleads innocent to first-degree murder, rape, burglary, and robbery. Lots of stuff here. Here's something odd. I did some research and I found something really weird that I don't know if it explains it or what, or if it's a piece of the puzzle. Okay. His mother, Gary's mother, Shelby June Coffin, and his middle name is June, I assume, like his mom. It's the only reason why I'm positive that they're related, and from the same town also. But she died on March 24th, 1986, right before he really kicked his weirdness into fifth gear.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if there was something about that when we hear about his background in a second, I don't know if something about that is a trigger or what.
Feels
looking for a trigger, because a lot of times that's what they do. The profilers, they look for where's the trigger, where is the fucking tipping point, what's the thing that makes this person veer off the path they're on, and it might be that. based on this. We'll talk about it here. Now, pre-trial, beginning in June 1988, with the first statement she gave police, April there, ending with the sixth and last one she gave him in November 1988, April Ward made 6 pre-trial statements, no 2 of which were completely alike, by the way, because they were all bleeding. Yeah. They were like, one is this, and a little more, then a little more, then a little more. It was one of those. Now, from the beginning of this, police and prosecution tried to shield April and the information she had given from the defense attorneys, which you can't really do.
That's kind of,
not okay. That's a Brady violation if there's anything that could be exculpatory and you're not telling them about it. Or you're just not giving them the info so they could study it and come up with a defense for it. So you have to do that. So even if it's not exculpatory. So during the course of the investigation, the police directed April Ward's mother not to let April talk with Gary's defense counsel, which I don't know if you're supposed to be able to interview witnesses, but if they're children, I don't know how that works.
They should be able to talk to the defense attorney. Let's just not let them talk to him.
Well, with your attorney maybe present as well, I would think it would be okay, or I don't know how that works. So
prosecuting attorney.
Something, yeah. So Ward was basically under house arrest there. She wasn't allowed to leave the house going up to the trial, which cut off any access to the defense counsel. It's kind of what they did there. Now, in response to he had a pretrial Brady motion seeking disclosure, which that's what that is, on material evidence favorable to the defense and the prosecutor failing to provide the defense counsel with copies of her prior inconsistent statements. So he does that pretrial. Yeah. None of that shit bears out for him. So the trial comes around in February 1990, and some very crazy shit comes out here. So she waives her right against self-incrimination, obviously, to do this. Prior to the trial, the defense also requested a competency hearing for April. She was 17 at the time during the trial, but she's a juvenile. At the hearing, the judge asked her some general questions, some questions about how she was doing in school, that sort of shit, and how her counseling was proceeding, and some questions about her awareness of her testimony, and he declared her competent to testify. Basically, are you a living, breathing human that seems to know where you are? Then you're fine to testify. But so there's also some juror issues. The record shows that juror Jerry McGill was related to a state's witness named John Brown by marriage. Brown was a patrolman with the county sheriff's department who had investigated him, who had investigated Gary when he received a call on July 13th about Gary's car being in a ditch. So at the trial, he'll testify that Gary appeared nervous and had a small cut on his face. So, now the second episode occurred here when state witness Tom Diddley Tom Diddley recognized one of the jurors as the owner of a wrecker service that had towed Gary's car when the other witness had worked on it. So this is all too small of a town here. And the defense counsel indicated he would address the problem later, but apparently never did. So where a juror is not legally disqualified or there's no inherent prejudice, the burden is on the defense to show that the juror is some way biased if it's not obvious. Also here we got Jimmy Husky testifying, old Jimmy Husky, and they testifies that, in 1986 that Gary would listen to hard rock music and drew sketches of demons and stuff like on album covers, he said.
God, I'm such a terrible person.
Had a pool cue that broke down into 3 pieces and light tablecloth curtain material in his car, and he always talked about tying women up during sex and that slapping women on the butt really turned him on. So he testifies to that. Now April gets on. And the thing is, when she gets here, the prosecutors turn over copies of the witness statements to the defense attorneys on the first night of the trial. And basically, it's over 100 pages worth of shit. And she's going to testify immediately. So the next day, they're going to have to process 100 pages of all her statements, find the inconsistencies, come up with questions that can get in between her story. You need more than a night to do that usually. So it's the statements of 20 potential state witnesses. And this is, hours before the trial is going to come back on. So the next day, the trial judge refused to recess trial following her testimony, despite defense counsel saying that he had not had adequate time to review the pretrial statements and was unprepared to cross-examine her. As a result, the defense counsel was prevented from gathering information that they could have to interview her. They could have talked to other people. There's a lot of shit you do backstory when you cross-examine someone in a fucking murder trial.
Especially one with this much gross. You want to make sure you get this right.
Yes, exactly. And it's a teenage witness, so you got to play it very carefully.
Somebody's overwhelmed with this one.
That's the thing. It's ridiculous. He was also denied discovery of her statements prior to trial, and he was forced to conduct cross-examination without the benefit of adequate preparation. It also indicates that despite the defense's timely motion for disclosure, the prosecutor never did produce the inconsistent statements that she gave to police officers that could have impeached her testimony. Now, they didn't do it until the night before the trial. The evidence was favorable to the defendant because it's different. It's, fucking testimony that's contradictory. Sure. That's good for him. The first day was a lot of rulings on unfinished pretrial bullshit and all that sort of thing. First day of the trial, defense counsel's request for the production of witness statements and all that sort of thing here. So he's saying that he didn't get it till 7:15 the night before, and the trial's starting today, which is fucking ridiculous.
They arrested him pretty fast and held him for 3 years before the trial?
No, they arrested him. It took a year to arrest him.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they got 2 years before.
2 years, to prepare for everything. Yeah. And in that 2 years, they never got all of her statements from police, which they should have gotten pretty quickly there. So, he just wants, they're asking for an adjournment until the next morning to examine and prepare a cross-examination. And the judge says, no, not at all. Does not let him do it. They do a direct examination, and there's a break in testimony to deal with something, and it was 4:05 p.m., and he said, look, I still haven't had an opportunity to read any of the prior statements. He said, I would ask the court to allow me to start my cross-examination in the morning and not now because I'm not prepared. There's no way in the world I can cross-examine this witness today. And the trial judge responded, quote, no, sir, you have your assistant with you, Mr. Ward. You have your investigator with you. They do a lot of work for you and do good work for you, and they've been doing good work for you for the last, since about 1:30. It's 3 hours. They've been looking at it. I glanced at it. It seems to have nothing worthwhile, relevant, or germane. You're not the defense attorney to decide that. You've had the statements overnight. This court will not delay, but it will tell you this. I intend to quit at about 5 o'clock. Got a new rule. It may turn into my hair, it may turn my hair brown again. My complexion may return. My vigor may return. This is a judge talking in court.
Sounds like he's like, I got a prescription
of
Cialis in the mail. I got to get home because it may turn my fucking hair back brown.
He's got like a multi-level marketing thing of some fucking pill. Can help you some juice drink. He said, I'm going to start working about 8 or 10 hours a day and quit. I've been working 10, 12, 14 hours a day for the last 3 weeks, and I shouldn't do that. So I'm going to try to do better, and if we can, let's do it. I know I can't quit before 5. There's no way in the world I can do it, but at 5, I'm going to start up and quit.
What is this?
He's giving this thing like, I'm worked too fucking hard. I've never heard a judge give a diatribe about how hard they work and how they've decided that no matter what the legal wranglings are, I need to be home for dinner.
I just left a Tony Robbins seminar, and he said, focus hard.
Focus.
Get your hard work done and get the fuck out. You gotta have your rest.
Oh, shit. Jesus Christ. So they're like, this is unbelievable. Less than 10 minutes later, the district attorney finished their examination of April, and now the defense attorney's up for a cross-examination. It's 4:12 p.m. Yeah. He asked for an overnight recess. He told the trial judge, reminded him all the other shit, and the judge went, nope, we're good.
He kept looking at his watch.
Kept looking at his shit here. It's fucking wild here.
I am blown away that a judge just interrupts it. This is the justice system, sir.
Yeah.
You can't just tell us. Justice takes a while.
You know.
And when it's done, it's done. You don't just go.
There's something on TV I'd like to see tonight, and I'm just going to go home and watch it. Me and my wife have reservations at 6:30. You know, I got to get there.
I got a season pass.
I got to go to Boob Mountain tonight, or else I'm never going to fucking. I can't. I got to relieve the stress. And Boob Mountain's the only thing that can do it. So the judge said that he was powerless to require the attorney general to do something the rules and the law do not require, that is to order early production of the statements. And the defense attorney made the following statement here: but you could cure the problem at this point by giving me the amount of time necessary to properly prepare for cross-examination. This witness is the whole case. I mean, we rise or fall here if they believe her. It's that important. I've been in your court for a long time, and you don't regularly ask and don't regularly ask for this, and you know that. But this is a very important case. It's a very dangerous situation for this witness to step in here without my being properly prepared to cross-examine her. It would just be suicide. And the trial judge denied this, saying that the request for a recess on the denied it, saying that the, quote, material is not that complex. And
you got like an Emmys person to start the music. Wrap it up, motherfucker.
Wrap it up. Let's go. Camera's pulling back. He's like, what the fuck is that?
This is great.
So the statements, judge also said the statements are not that different from each other. So it's like, they're not that different. Relax. You're fine. Okay. So, Jesus Christ. Berating the defense counsel for his efforts here, he says, quote, this is what the judge says, quote, I will give you a 10-minute recess. This is before the cross-examination, but you're going to cross-examine. But the court observes this. Before anybody came into the courthouse, before anybody got involved in this at all, even the most thickest neophyte in the world would know that April Ward is the crucial witness, the devastating witness. And as you knew, an experienced, seasoned lawyer from the front throughout and now, that this witness and that this is the witness and this is the witness. I don't know why he said it twice. And so I hold you to that standard. I'll give you 10 minutes to talk to whomever you want. We're going to cross-examine this lady. Okay? And then following the recess, after 10 minutes, this is what the trial judge says now. Yeah. This guy just likes to talk some shit. He says, quote, right now your client is at enormous risk for the death penalty. At enormous risk. Your statement that you weren't ready to cross-examine, if the death penalty is imposed, and it may well be, keeps bringing it up, it's a jury question. Of course, this lawsuit's half-tried and lawsuit, and we don't know what course it will take or what proof is to come, but at this time you're in imminent peril. You have put incompetency of counsel in this record by not being diligent, by not going over these statements, and by not being prepared to cross-examine this crucial and devastating witness. That's what concerns the court, but the court cannot stop and wait and procrastinate.
He's like Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Nothing but trouble.
I know this isn't fair, and I'm doing it anyway. Next case.
Eyes will spin.
That's it. Let's do it.
But he's like setting up his own sport in here, too. He's setting up a clock and then giving them, at the end of this clock, you are going to be put to death.
You're going to cross-examine if you don't have your cross-examination ready.
And go.
Let's do it.
He's making his own sport.
If you do it successfully, two tickets to Dollywood on the court.
This is great.
The defense here, Jesus Christ, the defense presented evidence that basically none of the tests or analysis performed by the forensic scientists from the state and the FBI had connected him with the killing. His fingerprints were not found in the house. A plaster cast of the shoe print found outside the house, which could be from anyone at any time, could be the FedEx guy, who the fuck knows, found outside the house was consistent with a boot owned by Kenneth Ogle, who is Kenneth Ogle had been a boyfriend of Teresa Goad, one of the victim's daughters. Okay. So that's how that worked. So an old boyfriend of the victim's daughter, they're saying there's a print of him. Yeah, because in September 86, he broke into this home and at knife point pushed Teresa, who he was going out with, not the mother, pushed Teresa to the bed and attempted to tie her hands with strips of sheet.
What the fuck is happening in this town?
Why is everybody so into bondage in this fucking town?
What's
and in
going
this
on?
House. In this house and violent nature. So they're saying, what about that guy? But that guy never threatened the mother or did anything to the mother. He was after this woman he was upset about. So 3 witnesses testified that Gary was in the habit of spray painting his junker cars different colors. His aunt testified that on the Friday night after he bought a green and white Oldsmobile, he came to his grandmother's house at around 11 or 12 and went to bed, which is definitely not true. So who knows? There's another statement here. Kenny Phillips, who's an inmate here with him, he says that he gave a statement to law enforcement where he talked about, he says that 2 persons that he knows, a man and a woman who were not Gary and April Ward here, had approached him about robbing and killing a woman in Pigeon Forge. Possibly the woman who was killed, but maybe not. So someone said, I'm going to kill this lady. And he's like, well, it must have been them killing her then. Okay. He didn't give the woman's name. So that's his big defense.
They didn't say who.
Someone else wanted to kill a woman in town at some point. Maybe not that woman, but some other woman. So why not kill this one?
Who knows?
Wow. When the time came for him to testify, he refused, this guy, because he's full of shit, because he said his earlier statements were lies concocted to get a reward offered for any evidence that would help solve the murder.
Okay.
Yeah, which is, we get a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of the snitching that goes on is fucking reward money.
Wow.
Because if you're really broke and there's an $800 reward, that's enough motivation to turn someone in for murder. Sure. Even if,
And Kenny's an inmate. He's trying to get time off.
Yeah. And you can justify in your head by going, well, if he did it anyway, who cares? Like, what the fuck? That's how people do it. So, he refused, saying that he couldn't do that, even though the trial court explained to him that as long as he testified truthfully, he wouldn't be committing perjury. He said that he would not testify, because he would have said, I'll just tell the truth. And they said, just tell the truth then. And he went, nope. So the trial court held him in contempt. He was already in jail, so that wasn't really a big loss for him. Defense counsel then argued that he should be allowed to read this Phillips' previous statements into evidence because Phillips was unavailable. And noting the statements were admitted falsehoods, the trial court refused to allow their introduction. Makes sense. Now, also witnesses not called. This is a problem here. Quickly, they want a continuance because they wanted to call Officer Tippins, who's one of the first officers on the scene the day of the murder, and evidence he alleged Tippins possessed was his knowledge there were groceries in the victim's trunk when the body was discovered. I don't know what difference that makes. This testimony, according to Gary here, would tend to show that the victim never had a chance to bring in her groceries before she died and was thus attacked outside of her house and dragged inside. Okay. Tippins was unavailable to come to the trial because of back problems. Now, the trial court refused to continue the case because Tippins' testimony would be cumulative in light of the fact that there were several other investigating officers who have the same knowledge. He's not the only cop that came to the scene. It's a fucking murder scene. Right. There was 10 people there. So at the trial, Gary also elicits Christy Jones Scott, who is the daughter of the victim, the testimony that she unloaded 2 or 3 bags of laundry detergent from her mother's trunk that she found after her mother died. It wasn't groceries in grocery bags, but it was laundry detergent, which is something you might just leave in your trunk.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
Exactly. I'll leave a 12-pack of soda or whatever in the trunk, or even laundry detergent or whatever. You take bags and you're like, I'm not going out again just for that. Right. Fuck it, it's staying in the trunk.
And this was in June or July?
July.
It was hot.
It's hot.
You don't want to go out there.
No.
I'll go out when the sun goes down.
Exactly. Who gives a shit? So the groceries don't matter there. And also regarding the need to investigate persons' names named as suspects by that one guy there, basically they said he lied. So there's that. They said that the trial court felt that the defendant had failed to exercise due diligence in examining the door. One of the allegations is regarding the need to examine the bedroom door. Gary sought to show that the footprint on the door was larger than his footprint would have been. They said the door had been made available to the defense for examination well before the motion. They never examined it. That's their fucking problem. Basically, they had plenty of opportunity to there. And apparently somebody testified that the print on the door was consistent with a smooth-soled shoe as opposed to the tennis shoe worn by the defendant. That's one of their defense witnesses. So finally, the trial court denied the motion for a continuance on the mistaken belief that FBI agent Doug Dedrick would testify. Agent Dedrick's testimony was presented to the jury through stipulation. They just read it in. When it became apparent that he wouldn't be at the trial, defense counsel expressly stated he did not want a continuance because of the stipulation, whatever. So now the psychiatrists come into this whole thing. One of the psychiatrists here, Dr. Sharvat, said she interviewed 40 people that knew Gary. 40. She traveled to Peoria, Illinois, where he grew up.
Jesus.
Yeah, and substantiated apparently his upbringing is interesting, as you might imagine. Severe physical abuse and neglect from his parents. She stated that she learned that he had been an exploited child who had suffered physical abuse, extreme emotional maltreatment, and sexual abuse, which makes a lot of sense. She stated that one witness she interviewed in Peoria stated that no one had contacted them prior to the petitioner's trial, even though he knew all this shit. They knew they would need it. The defense attorney should have been talking to people. Also, in addition to the interviewing process, she collected documents that he had attended 13 different schools. which is a lot. I thought I went to a lot of schools. 13's way more than that. 13's a lot. That's one per grade, including kindergarten. 13 different schools. She also learned that he was absent from school an inordinate amount of time, and that at times agencies and schools had attempted to intervene in his family life. When the parents were contacted, though, they would just move, basically, rather than be confronted with this. They go to a different district. Some of the people that this doctor interviewed said that he stayed out of school on numerous occasions because he was bruised, and that his stepfather didn't want anybody to see it, basically. Now, in the closers here, the closing argument, Attorney General urged the jurors to consider the deliberate invasion of the home and the cruelty shown in her killing, which took place, obviously, after she'd been beaten and bound and then everything else. So the verdict, based on this, it's a 4-day trial. The jury finds the defendant not guilty of felony murder, robbery, and larceny, but guilty of premeditated first-degree murder, first-degree burglary, and assault with intent to commit rape, which is way worse.
Way worse.
They found him. Well, they had the secondary in case they didn't want to convict on the first ones, and they got rid of all those, and they nailed him on all the first degrees.
But there's so many problems with this, right?
There's a lot. Sentencing comes around. He calls 4 witnesses, calls his aunt, Gladys Green, who told how his mother and father divorced when he was 3 or 4 years old. According to this woman, the aunt, Gary's childhood was very unsettled. She described him as a little slow and said that he had a good attitude since he's been in jail. A lot of the dumb guys like that, if they have very low IQ and they get caught, they thrive in jail for some reason. I don't know what it is. They like the structure.
They're told what to do. Whereas when they have choices,
they don't know what to do.
It's not easy.
No.
I don't know which one's best for me. You tell me what's best for me, and I'll do that.
I guess. Harold Stoffel, who's a minister in the prison, testified that, that Gary has now accepted the word of God.
Oh, boy.
So he's all better now. He's very respectful and was, quote, the finest young prisoner I've ever saw.
Gross.
Wow. A jailer, Edward Moore, a prison corrections officer, he said that he had never had any real problems with him since he's been in jail. Okay. A Dr. Madeline Perot, a clinical psychologist, testified that Gary's full IQ was 78.
Full IQ.
Full IQ, because there's different pieces. Yeah. Full of all of it. You think there's more of it? No. We got it all. That's not his full IQ, 78, right? He's got another 30, 40 points hanging around somewhere. Nope, that's all of it.
That's all of it.
She said, quote, just a little above mentally retarded classification. Her words, not mine. She said that he had been in special education classes where he'd done well. His father, whom this psychologist described as overtly psychotic, was an alcoholic and had physically abused his mother until their divorce. Now, and then the stepfather also abused the shit out of him. According to the history here, his mother started acting, quote, quite wild after the divorce with drinking and dating. And in this doctor's opinion, Gary had received inadequate parenting and there'd been no consistency in his relationships. His stepfather had beaten and humiliated him for bedwetting. Also came up. He felt that this doctor actually said that Gary would not be a physical threat to society or other prison inmates.
Well, no, he's 5'3".
Yeah, not to them.
That's a society?
He's a huge threat.
Yeah.
On cross-examination, though, she conceded that Gary was not insane and could conform his conduct to the dictates of the law, but just chose not to. Yeah. The defense, in arguing against the death penalty, presented just this whole thing. They talked about his childhood, like I said. His father apparently, Jesus Christ, quote, talked to the birds and tapped out messages on the table and then would become mad at the children when they didn't understand them and he would beat them.
I don't know that language, man.
He would talk to the birds and then literally just not Morse code or anything, just tap weird shit out and then beat the kids when they didn't get it.
Oh, boy.
That's how crazy that motherfucker was. So they asked him in sentencing, do you have anything to say for yourself? Anything at all? And he says, quote, I haven't done anything wrong, Your Honor.
Oh, boy.
So they say, the jurors say, you, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty.
Really?
For Gary here.
Oh, boy.
They give him the death penalty, and the judge also imposes 2 consecutive 10-year sentences on the other charges, the robbery and all that shit, and stipulated that the life sentence that the victim would receive, should the death penalty be overturned, would also be served consecutively. So basically, he's got, if the death penalty gets overturned. He's going to serve life consecutively with 10-year sentences. So he's fucked, basically.
He's not getting out.
He ain't getting out. So appeal here. In his appeal, his first thing is an underrepresentation of women on the county juries.
Okay.
Because the women would have let him off, obviously.
They would have understood.
They would have got it.
She was a bitch.
You know, Jesus Christ. Her blood was just too delicious. They know what it's like.
She lied about me. These women told the truth about me.
She told the truth.
She ratted on me.
How dare her.
These women would have been mad.
Yeah, they did a study of the juries, and he points to the fact that his jury panel was only 30% women, although the county is comprised of about 50% women. Okay. And only 30% on his jury. So that's like 2 extra people. Yeah. And it goes by, you'd have like 4 men, 4 women, and then whatever the last 4 fill in, they fill in as far as who's not racist and who's, doesn't have preconceived notions. Right. Whatever. So based on not getting a continuance for the witnesses, he wanted April's testimony, he wanted all that shit tossed out. So, this is all the witness statements he's really wants out. And, he says that his lawyers did not do a very good job. And the attorney further admitted that he didn't request the assistance of a blood or fingerprint expert at trial, which probably would have been helpful, and rather depended on the state expert. Yeah. Didn't get his own expert witness, which in a murder trial, you kind of want your own expert, probably. You don't want the guy whose job it is to put you in jail to be your only fucking person testifying. He stated that even though one of the victims introduced into evidence at trial was fingernail clippings from the victim, and even though allegations had been made that the petitioner had scratches all over him, he didn't secure the services of an expert to test the fingernail clippings. He stated that he could not recall how many conferences he had with his client before the trial, but that he would have not spoken to him every day or maybe every other week, possibly. He stated that he filed motions challenging the constitutionality of the death penalty and a motion requesting a change of venue, but that he did not request an expert to investigate and testify in the effects of the possible media coverage of the whole thing, because it was a pretty big deal. So he objects to the videotapes and photographs being shown, which we get a million times. They rule that the videotape and photographs taken at the murder scene are highly probative, and that they show what condition the condition of the body and clarify oral testimony. These depictions are certainly not pleasant, but they're not shocking or gruesome. I would disagree.
My ass cheeks in blood on the floor.
Yeah, that's pretty gruesome.
Straddling me. That looks bad.
That looks gross, right? So also interruptions by the trial court he's pissed off about. He says the trial court prejudiced the case by indicating to the jury throughout the trial that the court believed that he was guilty. Specifically complains of the trial court's interruption of cross-examination of the victim's daughter, Christy Jones Scott, and of Officer Sam Owenby, both of which interruptions were apparently attempts to keep the examination moving along, not anything else. The court's statements during the cross-examination with the doctor had told the jury, quote, that's just what that he's told them. He told the jury just what he's told them, and questions about the doctor taking fingernail clippings were academic, and the answer was obvious to anyone who had watched the television show Quimby. Okay? So they also challenged the comments of the court during direct examination about the door. To affect the record that was full of proof that the bedroom door had been knocked off its hinges, and it wasn't incorrect. The photographs and everything showed basically that the print was actually the size it was supposed to be. So he's trying to say that the footprint on the door, there was a full-scale photograph, but if there was a smaller photograph, you would have seen it in the right scale. It's crazy. They get into like scale of photograph and what it's fucking wild. It's really interesting here. Also, Dr. Blake here, they said that Dr. Blake, the defendant, argues that he was not qualified to characterize the injuries on the victim's back as whipping marks, and that those on her buttock as a slap injury. The admission of expert testimony is at the discretion of the trial judge, and Dr. Blake is a board-certified forensic pathologist and practiced in that field since 1963 and has conducted 2,500 forensic investigations. Yeah. They allowed his opinions to be his opinions. And
I also kind of like to slap ass in bed.
Yeah.
So I've seen a handprint.
Hopefully not that hard.
No.
Hopefully not to the point where a coroner wouldn't fucking talk about it.
If you can recognize that it's a hand, you've given it a
That's
whack.
A little too much.
You've given it hell.
So you've given it hell. And some people want hell, so who knows? So, not involuntarily.
No, goodness, no.
God, no.
Jesus.
So, also statements made by the victim. He insists, Gary, that the certain testimony, not of a victim, of April, certain testimony of April Ward and her mother concerning the statements made by the victim were inadmissible hearsay. The first was testimony objected to by the defendant, that of April Ward, to the effect that she was upset with Jones because of a conversation that Jones had with her mother and all of that shit. She said, quote, April said, quote, no one approved of us on the porch. No one approved of us on that porch. And she hurt Jones because she hated her for going to her mother and for trying to separate her from the defendant. The court rejects the hearsay on that since she's an accomplice, basically. The objection was April's mother had testimony that the victim had told her that she didn't get involved with other people's affairs, but she thought, quote, April was a sweet little girl and she didn't trust Gary Coffrin. So she had to get involved here. So that's how that works. They said, no hearsay was involved. No error in bidding it. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Competency of April, they talk about, okay? He says that the failure of the trial court to ask April whether she understood the difference between telling the truth and a lie and whether she comprehended the importance of telling the truth rendered the competency evaluation. Basically, that wasn't good enough because they didn't ask her that. She's not 6. Right. She's 17 at the time. She's not 6.
It's not a toddler on the stand telling what mommy did to your brother.
You would ask an 8-year-old, do you understand what the difference between truth and a lie? That's how you tell if an 8-year-old is competent to testify or not, because they ask them shit like that. A 17-year-old, you assume they know the difference between a lie and the fucking truth.
She's almost a legal adult.
Yeah. He also is appealing against Jimmy Husky's testimony about his demons and such. Mm-hmm. He says the testimony involving drug use and satanic sketches and listening to rock music. Not rock music and drawing. Oh my God, he's drawing and listening to rock music? No.
I had a pentagram on my JanSport for a while.
People had shit all over the place. Who cares?
Right over the logo.
Yeah, who gives a shit? So he said that this should not have been admitted. There's no harmful error, though, there. The judge says tough shit, basically. They say he presented those features on the character, and that was that. Also, the testimony of Letty Cruz, April's mom, said that around the time of the murder, her daughter April was having trouble in school and crying a lot. So that's an indication that she participated. He also objects to her testimony that he, quote, that Gary, quote, sneaked around her house for some period of time after the murder. Well, you allowed him to stay there for some period, so nothing there. Recall of Christy Scott, who is the daughter. She, this was over the defendant's objection. The court allowed the state to recall Christy Jones Scott to testify that her mother owned a collection of shot glasses and a pink Oral-B toothbrush that was missing. The evidence was relevant, obviously, because the victim's blood was drank out of shot glasses. So, and the defendant had her toothbrush. So, that works there. Also, he said that the attempted suicides that he'd had after the questioning should never have been let in, basically, because they asked him about it, and the police were allowed to testify about what he said, saying that he was depressed and had a lot on his mind. So they used that against him there. Also, a juror's comments here. Basically, the trial court didn't declare a mistrial. During cross-examination of April Ward, a defense counsel asked Ward why she had lied to law enforcement officers regarding who she told about the crime, and a juror loudly whispered, "What's the difference?" Like, who fucking cares? We can't get this guy to the chair fast enough, basically. So no further mention was made of it till the next morning when the counsel said that he would like to address it later in the day, and then never brought it up again. So that's how that worked here. The questions about, that's a juror objectivity is kind of a big deal, but what are you going to do? Also, the trial judge's actions, they said, they're not good. Talking about disallowing certain witnesses and things like that. One interjection concerned McFadden's examination, whether the door was knocked off his hinges. It had already been addressed, and he said, we're not going to talk about this again. And that's one of the things that Gary brings up as a point of appeal, basically. And finally, undue emphasis to aggravating circumstance. You didn't have to say that I was that bad. Right. That's like, I mean, yeah, we killed her and it was gross and everything, but you really played up the grossness of it, and I don't appreciate it, is basically what he says. After a recess during which the jury went to lunch, the judge informed counsel after reflection he had concluded that he should change the charge to conform more to the language requiring torture or depravity of mind, and should define cruel torture and depravity. Defense counsel did not order a corrected charge. So they had the charges worded a certain way, and the judge said maybe we should change it, and the defense counsel was like, I don't know, we'll figure it out later, and then never figured it out. Defense counsel seems to put off a lot of shit for later,
and then blame everybody else,
and then procrastinates and doesn't fucking do it yet. So also, last thing on this, a police interference with the trial preparation, keeping April Ward away from the defense counsel. So that's all what it is. Takes that to the appeals court, and they say, tough shit, suck a dick. To death row with you, my friend. May 11th, 1993, this goes all the way to the state Supreme Court. The court is split 3-2 and ends up upholding the death penalty against him here in, May 11th, 1993. Majority opinion was written here, said denied all grounds for appeals. Two of the justices said that he should get a new trial because his right to due process was violated by the police and not being able to question.
So we go to the Supreme Court.
So we go all the way to the United States Supreme Court in November of 1993, where they turned down his appeal without comment. What? They don't even fucking say shit about it. They're like, nope. And they're like, why? And they just go, why? And they just go, they start writing something down. Just ignore, start playing on their phones. No answer.
Playing Best Fiends.
Sentenced to death. But February 15th, 1999, this is where you can kind of get procedural shit even after that. It's a post-conviction petition that his attorney was ineffective during the guilt and sentencing phases of his trial, that the court erred in denying his request for funds to provide certain expert and investigative services, and that there were too few women on the jury. They end up upholding his conviction, but set aside his death penalty and require a new sentencing proceeding after finding out that he was denied his constitutional right to effective counsel during the sentencing phase of the trial. Justices rejected his claims challenging his conviction his total conviction. The state didn't seek to appeal this as well. So, under the court of a right to counsel violation, he is commuted to life in prison forever, life without parole. Now, I found this December 12th, 2000. There's a funeral for a Gary Coffrin. And I was like, fuck yeah. And it's not him.
Damn it.
It's not him. He is still alive.
Wow.
Still alive. He's born in 61. So he's
got a ways to go.
He's 59 years old.
He was only 30 when he went in.
Oh, yeah, he was only 30. That's crazy. He is in the Northeast Correctional Complex here. He's been denied any kind of parole hearings. In Tennessee. Yep, he's in for life. 1990, he went in, first-degree murder. That's him. And release eligibility date is 2/13/25.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's he's eligible to start getting hearings then, or what? Because a life sentence is only a certain length of time, and that would be fucking 45 years, basically, from there.
15, he's almost there.
It's 45 years, so I mean, I don't know. He might end up getting out one of these days. If he is,
that's
watch
35,
out.
Right?
Watch out
1990?
35. Yeah, 35 years he's been in there. So, I mean, 40 is a life term.
That's
That's 2025. So that's 40 years.
No, that's 35.
35 years. Yeah. I don't know. Either way, states are different. I'm not sure.
He might be able to get out.
He might be able to get out someday, although I would assume in a parole board hearing, you're going to look at all that stuff and you go, so you drank shot glasses of her blood.
You're really going to have some singing to do about how wrong you are.
Yeah, about how crazy you were and how much cocaine you were doing and how Satan had control of your brain and all this type of shit.
And how sorry you are.
How sorry you are. Now, the good thing about this, though, that's kind of funny and kind of good, is this guy's clearly an asshole.
Yeah.
His birthday was yesterday. So, happy birthday, fuckhead. Fucking enjoy Northeast Correctional Complex. asshole.
Is that his 60th?
That is his 59th.
59th. Next
He's
year.
born in 61.
Almost there.
So look at him. There we go. That is Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Wow.
That is one of the wildest tales I think we've encountered here.
And nobody's ever gone to an amusement park afterwards. Not yet. That's number one.
No.
That's the first one.
The first amusement park?
After a murder? Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean?
He went to Dollywood.
He went to Dollywood. Yeah, we've never had anybody go to we've had murder stakes,
Right.
we've had this and that. We've never had anybody go,
log rides.
I'm going to Dollywood. He just won the Super Bowl.
Well, we are covered in blood. We got to go on a log ride to watch this off.
Let's hit the flume. Come on, sweetheart. We're hitting the flume up.
He took a child to Dollywood.
So that is bonkers. That is Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and one of the craziest fucking cases ever.
Yeah.
Like we said, this is episode 400, so of not of Small Town Murder, but total. So thank you guys so much for being here for us. We will plug our shit here at the end. We didn't do it in the beginning, but if you haven't done it yet, that purple icon there, Apple Podcast, it helps a lot. The reviews, we don't know why it helps, but it does. It really does drive you up the charts. We have no idea why. So if you want to help the show, really, it helps the show a lot to do that and to counteract some assholes who just want to be dicks and troll and give shitty reviews.
Tell us that there are 22 shows that didn't exist.
Yeah, and that kind of shit. So if you want to counteract fucking liars, basically, get on there, help us out, do that. It helps the show a lot. You can do that. Also, go over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Everything. We have all sorts of new stuff up. There's new stuff, the Rocky Horror Picture Show font, Shut Up and Give Me Murder, with the lips with Pocket Robin coming out of it. It's a pretty fucking sweet design. And we just did a Small Town Murder arcade game looking thing, as a design for a shirt that's up right now. It's dope as shit. That would be cool. So anyway, there's that. Get your merchandise, get all your stuff, listen to Crime and Sports, check that out. Get your tickets to live shows.
They're happening.
For the love of Christ, get tickets to live shows. At some point, we're going to have them. And when they do, you'll have tickets to them.
Right.
And we can't wait. Imagine the energy we're going to have at those shows. Holy Jesus, we're going to be so psyched to be there. It's not even fucking funny.
I'm out of town.
Oh, my God. Do that. Listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie on Fridays also, where we rip apart bad romantic comedies, and I get very angry. So do all of that stuff here. If you want to be an even bigger hero to the show, well, first follow the show. Yeah. You can follow us on social media. We're at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram.
Because we want to compete.
Because we want to confuse you. That's what I don't know how you find us. I really don't. Thank you for trying.
It's a marvel of modern science that you guys really do it.
Fucking incredible, honestly, that you do that, though. So, you can do that. Find us on there. Do all your shit social media-wise. Yeah. If you want to be the biggest hero of the show, a producer.
Oh, boy.
First of all, you're going to have Jimmy butcher your name. Shit. And if it's Italian, it'll really be bad. You might not even recognize it, as you'll tell from the shout-outs this week, though we did. Sometimes names are said and people are like, I don't think I heard it. And we're like, no, you didn't hear your new name that you've been given by Jimmy.
You're right, you didn't hear your name.
Yeah, you didn't hear yours.
My name that I gave you.
Jimmy gave you a new one.
You're welcome.
Yeah, enjoy your new name that Jimmy just gave you. So you not only get that, you get access to tons of bonus material, so much bonus material. We did a violent felon prisoner dating game a couple weeks ago. We did a murder in Illinois last week as a small town murder thing. Even the crime and sports bonuses, which you will have access to through anybody above $5 on Patreon. That bonus was two guys in the 70s who were teammates on the New York Yankees swapping wives. Not only wives, houses, kids, cars, dogs, cats, tools,
everything.
Fucking shirts, pants, the whole thing. Yeah. Swapped it. So that story.
You got a better lawnmower than me.
Yeah, I like it. Now I do. Next week, our bonus for Small Town Murder will be a crazy shit case in Tennessee that I couldn't decide that or this.
Oh, we're going to stick around.
It's a smaller one, but oh my God, is this guy fucking insane?
Good.
And it's a recent one, so his social media posts were fucking bonkers. There's pictures of him that he puts on social media of him looking insane with like a big fucking machete and shit. He's crazy as fuck. So that's going to be there. You can get access to all of that by going to patreon.com/crime and sports. Anybody over the $5 level. And if you just want to be a hell of a person who just would like to throw us a couple bucks because you're a nice person, or you just want to get a little shout out, another one, you can do that also very easily over at PayPal. Just use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com.
Right.
Also a good way to get a hold of the show. And we have a voicemail too, 602 602-759-0606 if you want to leave voicemails and say anything you want like that. With all of that said, no more. Without further ado, 400th episode, listener appreciation. Let me appreciate the people who've been so fucking good to us this week. Jimmy, hit me with them hard.
This week's executive producers are Yi Ha, Jackie Sukup, Paul Ruest, Carol Buonanno, Kevin Spilker, Kelly Mack, Tara Schaefer, Merle Carter, Liam Smith, John Sorensen, Joe Dempsey, Brian Close, Eric Whitlow, Crystal Emerson, Fabrizzo the Dude, Alex Hall, Nathan Holt, Sandy Tringali, Leslie McKittrick, Randy Jordan, Adam Carpenter, Amanda Nichols, Samuel Lee. Hang in there, man. The man had a fucking hell of a story. Keep going. I hope we get to meet you one day.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Charisma. She's 40. Jessica Adams, Zach Schaub, Regina Mont Lewis, Jordan Bennett, Christiane Castaldi, and Shannon Russell.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
I actually have one here that I have to do. It's a guy named Nick Palmieri, and he sent us a message saying that he didn't know if he had heard his shout out or maybe he missed it or whatever. So Sarah explained to him that it's possible that it was missed, but more than likely, since you have an Italian last name, you just don't recognize your new last name that Jimmy gave you that is nothing like your old last name.
Daniel Palmero.
Yeah, exactly. So Nick Palmieri, Patreon guy. Thank you, Nick.
George Banfield's son turned 16. His name is Patrick. It might be an Irish Patrick.
Oh, maybe.
Or
I think Patrick is Irish.
Is it?
You're right. I think it's probably the most Irish name.
Unless it's Patrick.
Patrick would be
yeah. Padraic, maybe.
I don't know. Thank you.
He's 16.
Happy birthday.
Jackie Boy Roberts, Tiana Jordan, Kevin would know last name, Hannah would know last name, Boston Van Landingham Gore. Nope.
Wow, that sounds fancy.
Yep. Tavia Buck, or is that Tanya? Not. What have I done? Mark Gruber, Michael Scholes, Aaron Angel, Nathan C., Callie Dixon, Christian Binns, Tara Hedges, Tyler LaForge, Nancy Leeds. That's Leeds. Sorry. Naima Shea, Danielle Teaver, Jesse Valdovinos. Maybe? No. NZB Labs? That is what that is. Kyle Alcoin? Nick. God damn it. Nick would know last name. Sarah Carroll, Charlie, that's Charlie, Sherry Coleman, John Cornwell, Vern Coffey, Dairy Public Radio. They're a podcast, I guess.
Cool.
It's a Stephen King podcast.
Cool.
That's what that is.
That's neat.
Dairy, like back east. Fucking
DE.
Yeah, you got it.
Not cow, not from a
You're
cow.
You're on board.
Yeah.
Shaban Paymeyer, JC, Rob Holdberg, Megan Thompson, Jacinda Shabat Moose, Sarah Wagner, is that what I think that is? Annie M. Nikki would know last name. Alexis Stubler, William Morris, like the agency, Emily Franz, Tanisha Reyes, Andrea LaBouffe, Lauren Lewicki, Jamaica Meekum, Catherine Schubert, Christy Morrison, Mastro Michaels, McAllis,
hey,
Casey Trentman, Rebecca Hayslett, Andrew Hesh, Joe Peake or Pecky, John Rudy, Jennifer, that's Jeffrey Smith, Nathaniel Russell, Mikkel Glidden, Michael maybe, Jared Hall, Michael Spears, Chris with no last name, Elizabeth Smith, Sam Bither, Jan Olin, Moral Nielsen, probably not. Jennifer Barna, Carrie Shaka, Sachatella?
See?
Yeah. Paul Smith, that's easy. Zach Newble Welch, Jessica Hodges, Kathy Louise Zeller, Brett Kittle, Lynn Van Hoos, Daisy Valle,
one of those.
Lisa Schultz, Carly Ambrosano. See, it's the Italian stuff.
It really gets you, man.
Her daughter beat cancer, by the way. It's fucking amazing.
Congrats.
Lance
amazing.
Howard, Jamie Casper, Andrew Guider, Enrique Andrade, Carolyn Phillips, Amanda Weiss, Lindy Trofeter, Shemi H., Catherine Roberts, Garrett England, like Robert, Katie Oatley, Shane Clamner, Kasauri Merzouz, what is that? Kasauri That's not right either. And then Carla Clark is turning, I don't know how old it's her birthday. Happy birthday. Jesus.
I don't know.
Fuck.
Happy birthday.
Laura Hansen, Monica Hamlet, Zach Hartley, Sam Azaro, Jordan Troop, Lauren McAteer, Sean Carr, Alina Lorenz, Jamie Marshall, Danielle with no last name, Tanita Brooks, Lauren Bedrosian, Big Will 25. Can't fuck that up. Jimmy St. Jean, Aber K-Cam, Maureen Montgomery, Nicole Curtis, Heather with no last name, Hillary Blau, Troy, nope, that's T-Roy Weekly, Adam Kofnevek, probably not, Timothy Hype Miller, Miller, Timothy, thanks. Kendall Mileski, Tom with no last name, Jacob LeBlanc, Nastico, James Murdoch, Sarah Shaw, Lindsay McGee, Jackie Teneski, Felicia Markley, Aristri, Rice, she's French Canadian. I'm sorry. Taylor Cody would know. Well, that is their last name. Lisa Schmidt, Wes Casewell. I don't know. Adam Steele, Walter Seaford, Courtney Jackie, Lainey Olson, Lines by Bernie, Nicole Schobel, Patty with no last name, Combs with no last name, Greg Nesbitt, Greg Felton, I think, Jessica Fernandez, Chelsea Steele, Sarah K. Hamilton, Chris Drinkwater, Christy and Ray, Pete Marion, Arabella Caldwell, Adnerb. I don't know, man. Jason Walker.
Spinning out.
Jennifer
You
Keek,
got this, Jimmy.
Chantrell Bars. That sounds like a rapper. Antonio Frio. Sheila Dirk. Katie Embry. Brianna Pugsley. Carrie L. Hazen Pat. Anita Cockapinny, what? I don't know, man. Abe Haddad, Carl Jones, Candy Wilson, Quinn with no last name, Ricardo Saldana, Rebecca Zimmerman, Nicole Oldadak, Jonathan, no, it's Nathan Jammer, Caitlin Cipriano, yep, Quinn Curtis, Cat with no last name, James Shanigan, nope, Shaniger, Corey Balderson, Mindy Benton, Ryan Cox, Finnis Hall, Hill, John Jacobs, nope, Jackson, Ashley Rezan, Curtis Shuey, nope, Christian Uri, I think, Jamie Nicole, that's what that is, Jack Altimus, Andrea Martinez, Stacy Hambry, Brian with no last name, Kendra Newendora, Keisha Blocker, Michael Barrios, I think, Megan Bellin, Ginny with no last name, Eddie Sanchez, Ben Hoffman.
Megan, I know that word.
That's an easy one. Scott Barbic, Sarah with no last name, Chris Lemons, Allison Postma, Ethel Nzombi, Thomas Smith, Taylor Phillips, it's Mitt, YOLO for Jesus. That's pretty easy. Scott Music, James Arana, Sean Hartley, Eric Castillo, Ashley Blanton, Christina, nope, that's Christy Stutz, Nicole Sitta, Aaron Burke, Jennifer Visconti, Antonio McDomick, God damn it, Darcy Standifer, Jill Knapp, Thomas Crows, Evan Schneider, Liz Vasquez, Peyton Meadows, Tori Backer, Johnny Price, Tinas and Angus, Carl Nagurski, Mandy Knight, James Martyr, Sabrina Lupo, Ashley Bale, Reagan Heaton, Stephanie, nope, that's Steven Timberlake, sorry man, Jason Fuller, Zoe McGeechan, Courtney Petty, Holly Connors, Nicholas Barna, Candace Roop, I don't know if that's a D or a P. Rick Walls, Melissa Turner, Dylan Parsons, Rob East, Rock Hard Banana Hammock 74.
Wow.
You appreciate that.
That's quite the
Courtney DeCorp wrote us a nice email. Thank you. Shannon Hagan. That's my cousin.
Hey.
Jesus Christ. Shannon,
Thanks,
stop
Shannon.
that. Thank you, Rice. No, Ross. I wrote Rice. His name's Ross. He helped me build a computer. Thank you, Ross. Jason Barron, Isabel Gutierrez, Elizabeth Spearman, Donald Gorman, Leroy Jenkins, Sad Thor Blake, Alexandra Macias. Brian Yoke, Tyrone Bliss, DeAndre Brinson, Shaban McClatchy, Cam Bartkus, Heather Ramsey, Kinsey Wells, is that Nels? It might be Nels. John Joseph, Janice Hill, David Guisto, Sam Jellin, Jacob Burton, Homestretch, damn it, Howard Soward, Holland. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not Howard.
Howard Soward.
I'm really sorry. Alec Zorn, although change your name. Howard Soward is so much cooler.
That's pretty cool.
It's probably a woman, though. Zachary Hagen, Dominique Balsoma, Robin Anderson, Taylor Seaman. It's her mother, by the way, whose birth date is. Mark Schaefer, Matthew McCarthy.
Thank you, Mama Seaman.
Francesca Rivera Diaz. I think it was Clark. I don't remember.
Okay.
God damn it. Joanne Ahern. Daniel Perry and Aaron Rulker. Laura Emer. I don't know what I did to your name. I apologize. Daniel Mark. Nicole Quintiliana. Selena Sayatovich. Saitanovich.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fancy.
No, I did it terribly.
No, you ruined it.
Juliana Colley, Travis Marshall, Ryan Rainieri. Nope. Jeremy Woodward, Jude Kendall, Carl Kirshner, Ashley Vio, Allison Harax, and Reagan Shockley. You guys really change our lives. Thank you to all of our patron supporters.
Thank you so much, everybody.
It's wild.
For everything this week and for everything for the last 150 weeks or so, or a little more than that, 175. Thank you so much for everything you do for us. You have embraced us since the beginning. You guys we had an audience for the show very quickly. Yeah. People jumped on board, and a lot of them are crime and sports people, and some people are just new people that are looking for murder stories. And you stuck with us. Continue to tell your friends, continue to review, continue to do all that stuff, because it really doesn't. Our work never stops. So thank you for doing so much work for us that you don't even have to do. We really appreciate it. Jimmy, what if somebody really appreciated you? How could they let you know about that?
If they loved me, they can find me. And if they do love me, they will find me. Where can they find you?
I'm out there. You know where we are. Find us. Just review the show or something, or do something. Post about the show instead if you want.
You're why we do it.
Thank you guys for everything so much for that. And with that said, oh my goodness. Yeah. Thank you again, all 400 episodes, and hope you enjoyed this bonkers batshit story. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a micro-city built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.